Oh, shit. Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble night. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. I want to welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, y'all. We're going to be talking about, right, current news. We got random topics today, right? We're going to be diving down the rabbit hole, right? Looking at, our past and diving down into the history of our ancestors, presidents, war, right? How much do we know about our history, right? And we know that not every video, right, out there, right, is always on point. The majority of the videos that we review and react to, right, when it comes to our history, our past, and stuff like that, right, it's always somebody's opinion, right? So we're reviewing, we're reacting, right? We could dissect the truth from here, right? We've said before, right? How much can we trust, right, when most of our history comes from the people that tried to erase it, right? Um, Listen, man, when it comes to this panel, right, we don't pick sides over here, right? We all have our own opinions. We're not here to bash or bring nobody down. We're all learning about our history, right? Some of us, know where, our roots were, how far our roots go, right? Who our ancestors are, right? And much more. Some people don't know, some people are just learning, right? But once again, like I said, we're here to learn, right? We could bring solutions to the table, bring them, and hey, let's try to learn some extra shit. We learn something new every day, and I appreciate everybody that's come and joined these panels, right? Have given their perspectives. We've learned a lot. We've learned about the Geechee people. We've learned about the Tainos, right? We've learned about the Africans, the Moors, right? We've learned about the Islams. We've learned about many, many, many tribes here, right? Different territories, different lands, what happened throughout the years in history, right? And it's up to y'all on how y'all perceive these videos, right? We all got our own opinions. We all come up with our own conclusions. The link is dropped for anybody that wishes to come up and talk to a shorty if they wish, right? But we're going to start this live off with current news, right? It's a lot of things going on around us, right? It's going to be a little political, right? Listen, man, keep it respectful in the chat, right? As long as you keep it respectful, right? I surely don't mind what y'all do in the chat. Y'all can goof around, y'all can joke and stuff like that. But please keep it respectful because a shorty will ban you. Like, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie, but if you disrespect somebody, whether it's in the chat, somebody that's a guest, me as a host, you see where I'm coming from, or anybody else, you will get banned. But y'all more than welcome to come and talk, give y'all opinions, give y'all perspectives. We're not here to judge or bash anybody. But let's get this John started, right? We're going to start off. It's going to be a lot of political news, right? Because of everything that's going on. But like I said, let's get this live started. And let's listen to what's happening. I think on Thursday we reviewed and reacted to Senator Crockett and Mace having a whole heated debate. It's crazy as hell, but yeah, they had a whole heated debate in these Senate meetings. But let's find out what's going on. Theatrical performance, AOC torched for disheartening House floor tirade. Oh snap! Let's see what's going on. Welcome, welcome, MCAM. I hope I'm saying your name right. I appreciate you. Oh, we got Philly in the building, yo. Listen, man, I don't know what part of Philly you from, but hey, welcome to the live. I appreciate you. I appreciate the comment, man. HP in the house, right? We got somebody else from the Philly community here in the building, yo. Welcome to Philly, y'all. Like I said, listen, man, my heart's always gonna be in Philly, yo. So I appreciate y'all. Um, but let's see what this is going on. My bad, my bad. Like you say you from Philly, like yo, we got somebody else from Philly in the building. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Female athletes
All
protesting.
right. Okay, so we got what? Fight for fairness in women's sports. All right. We was just reviewing and reacting, right, to the heated debate that Senator Crockett had with Senator Mace. I think it was. I'm not sure if that was a senator. Miss Mace was a senator, but they had a whole debate, heated debate about civil rights and much more. Right. Miss Mace made a very good point. Right. what they're doing right now, right? I get it. But my thing is, right, in order to protect the transgender community, right, they're sitting here, right, and they're kind of like stripping away a lot of the women's rights, right? And all this just to protect the fact that, a lot of men out here can't can't handle the fact, right? I mean, it's like a mental disease, right? I feel as though it has to be part of, hashtag mental health. But until that happens, listen, this is all I could say, right? A lot of men thinking that they're women, right? Trying to replace women, trying to be involved in a lot of the stuff that women do. You see where I'm coming from? Like, there's a whole reason why women got their whole little division, right? The sports and all that. We can't be in the men's sports, right? Plus, the men are a whole lot strong. Listen, we're not even gonna get into that because some women get offended when a shorty says that. But listen, we can go into details on another live. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, right? So recently there was a whole heated debate about this on a Senate meeting. We just reviewed and reacted to it. Make sure y'all go check it out. I also have it on my backup channel, right? I put it up there as a premiere. So make sure y'all go check it out. Y'all could hear my, my perspective, my opinion on that. But it seems like, the battle is still going on, right? So we're, I guess, fight for fairness in women's sports. So I'm guessing this still has to be a part of it. So let's check this video out and see what they got to say.
Outside the NCAA convention demanding protection for women's sports, following a major win on Capitol Hill. The House passing a bill banning biological males from female school teams. If it passes in the Senate, the bill will strip funding from all schools that don't comply. Our next guest was on Capitol Hill yesterday when it passed.
So I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, listen, man, you're a biological male, right? You're born, male intestine, male organs, right? You got a third leg in between your legs, right? Let me put it like there's a Christmas tree and some ornaments hanging from it, right? You got a soldier, right? And it's twins down there in between your legs. Look, listen, man. You don't belong in a woman's bathroom. You don't belong in the women's sports. You do not belong in places where women need to feel comfortable. Like, the majority of these women out here are survivors, whether they have, survived, mental abuse, physical abuse, trauma from a relationship, sexual abuse. They don't feel comfortable with men in the locker rooms with them, in the bathrooms with them. So this is something that a lot of people's going to really have to understand. It's like, I don't know how to, how much nicer I could put this. Can I get in my bag? Yes. But I don't want to lose this channel. So you know what? That's the nicest I could put it. Like, right is right, wrong is wrong. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. Point blank. Like, and like I said, like, no disrespect towards, the transgender community, no disrespect towards the LGBT community. But at the end of the day, enough is enough.
Host of the Games for Girls podcast on Outkick.com, Riley Gaines joins us now. Good morning, Riley.
Good morning. It's good to be on with you.
So AOC had this to say about the bill. Let's watch it.
Republicans who have voted consistently against the Violence Against Women Act now want to pretend today that they care about women. And why? To open up gender and, yes, genital examinations into little girls in this country in the so-called name of attacking trans girls. Trans girls are girls.
Is that what this fight is about? Examining little girls? I mean, this is just off.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. If she spent 2 seconds reading the bill, she would know this has nothing to do with genital inspections. This has nothing to do with any sort of anatomical examination. This resorts to birth certificates and a routine physical, which every athlete already has to complete to be able to play their sport anyway. And so,
facts. Like, what is the problem with you being a male attending male sports? I mean, I really don't understand this, right? That's the whole reason why, I'm not saying that's the whole reason, right? But I know it's part of one of the reasons, right? That, they got the whole sports division for the females, right? You don't see no men in there. You don't see the women in the men's sports unless they cheerleaders. Like, come on, let's be real about this shit. And what woman is really comfortable with men in and out of the bathrooms while they're in there? Let's be real. I don't care how much a man thinks that he's a woman in his head. He could pretend to squat down and have to pee when he has to stand. You see where I'm coming from? He could pretend that he gets a period 7 days out of the week. He could pretend that he can give birth, right? But at the end of the day, a man is a man. A man can't give birth. The only way that a man can give birth is if he was born a hermaphrodite, which means they have both sexes, which means that he has female organs, which allows him, right, even though he has a, male organ, to probably get pregnant, right? And like, you know what? That's a topic for another live. We're not even going to jump and dive into that right now. But I mean, I'm hoping y'all get my whole point. Like, let's really be real about this.
To watch the theatrical performance, which that's exactly what it was, from pretty much all of the Democrats on the House floor, it was disheartening. And to continue to see them tout about women's rights, and she mentions the Violence Against Women Act. Do we remember how AOC voted on the Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act? Because
Correct.
she voted in opposition. So, I mean, look at these people. Look how they voted on the Laken Riley Act. Look how they voted on the Save Women's Sports Act. And if they were a no on one or both, then they do not get to continue to say they support women and women's rights.
So, Riley, I was actually surprised when I saw it was only 2 Democrats from the Texas delegation. So we got some Texas Democrats that have some sense. You got Representative Henry Cuellar and you got Vicente Gonzalez that voted for the bill. I don't think this is a partisan issue. And I thought that the Democrats really cared about women. They're going to destroy the sport.
Yeah, you don't think it's a partisan?
Oh shit. Wait, we gotta go back real quick. So House votes on the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, right? Republicans vote yes. Democrats vote nay. 206 Democrats voted nay. That is crazy. So 206 Democrats, right? Only 2 Democrats were with the bill. Even with that, the Republicans won. And hopefully they do pass that bill that, the House votes in for Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. I mean, hopefully they do pass. There's no need for men to be in girls or women's sports. Why? For what? You can't beat a man, so now you feel comfortable trying to beat a woman? So you're going to pretend to be a woman? Right? No offense to anybody, but that's the reality. Facts is facts. Like, what the fuck is going on in this world?
Yeah, you don't think it's a partisan issue. Neither does majority of Americans, as made very, very clear on November 5th. But apparently November 5th taught the Democrats nothing. I was curious going into this. Will we see people double down like we saw from AOC? Or will we see people start to slowly recant from their position? And if you can remember, Lawrence, a few months back, I mean, pretty immediately following the election, you had Congressman Seth Moulton. He went on the news and he said, look, we've become too radical as a party. I have daughters. I don't want my daughters on the court or on the field with boys. But even Congressman Moulton was pressured into voting in opposition of the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act. But
so they pressured him. What? They blackmailed him into doing this? What? They got something underneath, they belt against him? Like, what? What made this man feel like he had to, go on their side and say yay? See my point?
Tells you something. It tells you that more than a party, what the Democrats are is truthfully they're a cult.
I do find that interesting.
It kind of sounds like it.
And you thought that there was an epiphany on this issue. To see the double down even after the election, I think is truly shocking. What do you think is the end goal here? Do you think in the end that you guys are going to win this fight? It passes the Senate and President-elect Trump, when he becomes president, actually signs the bill?
I'm very hopeful.
There's only a few days left for that.
Partisan on these hot button issues than certainly the House does. So I'm hopeful. I don't know what the timeline looks like. If you can remember last year, the Senate totally disavowed this issue. They would not even bring it forward for a vote. So nonetheless, it's a big step forward. And I'm hopeful that President Trump on day one, as he campaigned on, will take decisive action and ultimately ensure Title IX is upheld by its original intent.
I just hope that all the women during Pete's hearing yesterday that wanted to be defenders of women vote for the bill. We'll see. Thanks, Riley.
I'm Steve Ducey.
How many of y'all believe that Trump is going to be able to, actually pass this bill? Do y'all believe that they will be able? I hope they pass this bill, right? But so much be going on that I don't know. I don't know if I should trust Trump or not trust Trump. It's so much with him too. Like, I don't know. Some people, I guess they call amnesia, right? Like, I mean, he's got a good policy going. I'm against a few things in his policy. I feel as though that Jill Stein's policy was better than everybody else's policy, man. I voted for her, but, she wasn't vocal enough. So, it is what it is. Now we have to fall back and see what happens. Will Trump actually, doing what he say he's been doing, right? With all of the stuff that's happening. Or, will we have a repeat? So let's move on. Let's move on. Oh, what the hell? Biden declared that Elon Musk was their enemy, Divine says. Oh, shit. I didn't know that Elon Musk was our enemy at all. Shit. I'm just learning this today. I thought that man's business was just involving, technology and shit like that. Cars, computers and all that. Nah. Why is he the enemy? What's going on?
And Fox News contributor Miranda Devine. Miranda, great to see you. Thanks so much for being here. So now it looks like he's doing a 180 and you're not buying it.
Absolutely not. Look, I think it's welcome that he's changed these policies at Meta. He's read the tea leaves and read the room, but he has a lot of atonement to do. I think Devin Nunes is quite right. Why not become a champion of free speech?
Mark Zuckerberg,
with your money
what he got to
rather
do
than
with
a few
this?
cheap words. I think the problem really regarding.
Wait, it says Elon Musk. Why they talking about why they got the Mark Zuckerberg? He used to be the owner of Facebook. I still think he got parts of Facebook. But hey, they say that he don't no more. But I feel as though he still does.
Regardless of how repulsive Mark Zuckerberg's sort of personal
Oh, she's about to tell us. Okay.
has
I was a
been.
little lost.
I think the real point is that much power over speech and thought should not be controlled by one man.
Nope.
And, especially one who's shown himself to be as much of a toady as Zuckerberg.
Yeah, no, I agree. But the power is in the hands of these social media companies. You know that, right? I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah, go ahead, Miranda.
I mean, it's not really, because the administration has an enormous amount of power. And that was why Zuckerberg, I think, buckled so readily to the threats of the Biden administration and just merrily censored away. The same power is wielded by Donald Trump. And I think it shouldn't be used as a casual threat just to get Zuckerberg.
Wait a minute. Is he saying that Mark Zuckerberg and Donald Trump got the same type of power and they misusing it?
And Meta to do what he wants, but instead to break up these social media monopolies, behemoths, just like Teddy Roosevelt did with the railways back in the early 1900s.
That's a great point, Miranda. I mean, look, Mark Zuckerberg went on a podcast the other day and was telling everybody how the Biden administration was bullying them. Right. So, I mean, how do you stop that? I mean, calling, screaming, take this down, censor this, censor that. And he said that it became really hard. Now we see, of course, Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, and a lot of business leaders are going to the inauguration, President Trump's inauguration on Monday, choosing to go to Washington instead of the Davos forum in Switzerland, Miranda.
Isn't that symbolic?
Yeah.
But look, I mean, Zuckerberg was there. He was censoring away. He knew that he'd been bullied by the Biden administration, and he kept his mouth shut during that landmark free speech lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court, Murthy versus Missouri, which was, initially Missouri versus Biden. He could have really helped that case a lot. Instead, he just kept his mouth shut.
let me get your take on what's to come, because the Securities and Exchange Commission just filed suit against Elon Musk, Miranda, over allegations that he misled shareholders about his 2022 Twitter stock buys. The suit claims that Musk's delayed ownership disclosure allowed him to save more than $150 million while buying Twitter stock. Musk also being accused of violating a rule which requires investors who own at least a 5% stake in a public company to disclose their ownership within 10 days. Apparently, Musk allegedly did not do so until 11 days after the deadline. Current SEC Chairman Gary Gensler stepping down in just a few days. Trump selecting Republican lawyer Paul Atkins to replace him, Miranda. And I know there's a lot of optimism around Paul Atkins shutting down agencies, consolidating agencies, cutting regulation, which is going to be night and day for corporate America. But what's your reaction?
What in the world is going on? Okay. I mean, I'm not the only one that thinks what, Biden just did with the TikTok shit is about to, I think in a way backfire, right? I've seen a lot of TikTokers. We've reviewed a lot of videos before in the past, right? And TikTokers said this in the past, but I guess they're saying it now. I don't know if it'll work, right? I would love to hear your perspectives and your opinions, right? I got to gather the videos together, right? So we could do some review and reactions on this TikTok situation. But do you feel as though, right, them boycotting like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and all the other social media apps, right? They use the same spyware that they're accusing TikTok of using, right? I mean, because they do. That one spyware that they're accusing TikTok of using is the same app, the same little ware that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even YouTube uses it. So it's kind of like, I'm sorry. Like, I get it. But it's like a big hypocrisy in this. And I'm understanding a lot of people too. So, I would love to hear y'all perspective on this. Like, do y'all think that it'll work if they end up boycotting all these social media apps, right? I mean, I see that Mark Zuckerberg is also under a lot of heat. And I'm a little like in between, like, does he still own Facebook or he doesn't own Facebook? Because it's kind of like I see him still going to meetings, they have to deal with Facebook and much more. So was it a lie when they said that he sold Facebook? Or is he, still the owner of Facebook or has parts of Facebook? So yeah, I'm a little curious. I got, questions. It's been a while since I've really been on Facebook, and I mean really been on Facebook. It's been a while. I just share my videos and that's it. Damn, so I'm gonna have to go check Facebook out for a minute too. What in the world is going on? Shit, I'm gonna find out a lot over there. That's nothing but Dramaville over there. Shit, YouTube is getting there too.
Look, it's another example of Joe Biden weaponizing, politicizing the federal government to go after his enemies. And here's Gary Gensler, remember, who was the former CFO of Hillary Clinton's failed 2016 campaign, a progressive Democrat through and through, just obliging Joe Biden. And here's another attack on Elon Musk, who they regard as a turncoat because he embraced Donald Trump. So Elon Musk's lawyer calls this a sham, and no doubt when Paul Atkins comes in, he'll discard it as a worthless attempt. But what it will do is just provide more fodder for resistance media to attack Donald Trump and create a new scandal.
So compare the treatment of Elon Musk to that of Mark Zuckerberg. Miranda, how do you compare these two?
Well, Joe Biden obviously has declared a couple of years ago that Elon Musk was persona non grata, their enemy. And he's had, coincidentally or not, several federal agencies go after him. And that was because of his decision to open up Twitter, to remove the censorship, to allow us to see how the censorship was conducted. And
Twitter always in a jam.
And so Mark Zuckerberg, on the other hand, just kept in good, and it really embraced all the policies. He's on record. There was a Project Veritas recording of one of his staff meetings in which he was all in on every one of the Biden administration policies, including opening the borders and so on. And so now he's decided at the 11th hour that he's on board the Trump train. And certainly Donald Trump's invited him to Mar-a-Lago twice now since
Oh,
the
shit.
election. But I think
So
it's
they
more
mad
like a
at-
cat playing with a mouse.
They mad at Musk, and I mean, I guess they mad at Musk because he's riding Trump's boat now. Like, damn, that's some hate and shit. That's crazy. Oh shit. Jealousy on the rise.
I think he enjoys watching him squirm.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let me get your take on the Jack Smith news. The first round of former special counsel Jack Smith's report on Trump's 2020 election case was released earlier this week. Jack Smith claimed that Trump, quote, would have been convicted if he did not win the presidency, Miranda.
Oh,
Trump
shit.
responded by calling Jack Smith desperate and deranged. Former special counsel David Weiss also dropped his final report on the Hunter Biden investigations. Weiss slammed President Biden for what he says is rewriting history after Biden said the prosecution of his son was political. Miranda, this has to be somewhat personal for you as well. You did so much.
Wait. So is Trump a felon or not? Right? This the shit that's confusing me. Like, I mean, I know he's got a couple charges dropped, right? But he's still, going, to trial for a couple things. So it's kind of like, is it over? Like, is he still a felon, becoming president? Like, what's going on? Like, I need a little, a little closure on that part right there. Like, I'm a little lost and confused. So if somebody knows a little more than what I do, let a shorty know.
Work on the Hunter Biden laptop, and you wrote an incredible book, The Laptop from Hell, which is a must-read for anybody. And now you've got, Joe Biden calling all of this political.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's an irony, isn't it? It's just tackling the David Weiss report, special counsel report on the Hunter Biden investigation. It's a flimsy 27 pages, very thin gruel after 6 years of a really tortured and corrupted investigation.
Damn.
We know how corrupted it was because of the very brave whistleblowers from the IRS, Gary Shapley and Joe Ziegler. They are still being retaliated against, still being victimized by their cowardly bosses at the IRS, even though they are the top of the top. Gary Shapley was
She just threw shots at the IRS.
in charge of the investigation into that just had this fantastic development with Credit Suisse, UBS. And so he is a very talented individual and was just thrown aside because he stood up and did the right thing and called out the DOJ for covering up for Joe Biden and Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
The cover-up of Joe
Oh,
Biden
wow.
continues.
It sure does. Miranda, real quick before you go on the Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg comparison. Interesting to see now that we could see.
I know they
TikTok
all friends on
go
the
to
low.
Elon Musk. That China is
What?
actually thinking maybe Elon Musk is the best buyer. Of
Get
TikTok.
the fuck out of here.
Weigh that into all of this.
Look, again, I don't think it's good for these tech titans to amass too much power of their own. I think there's another Kevin.
So they want to give TikTok to Elon Musk. I don't know how true this is, right? But I'm about to, go down the rabbit. It ain't even a rabbit hole. I'm about to do some research on this because we're not digging into the past. So ain't no digging down the rabbit hole. There's some recent shit within the past couple of years. So I'm about to go do some research on this, right? I didn't know about that part. Now I knew they was talking about, around the 20th, getting rid of TikTok. But then I heard somebody saying, I think the Angry Man, he was doing a live, and he's saying that how the banning of TikTok is firing back against politicians, right? And we spoke on this a couple months back, and I said it. I feel as though this is going to backfire on these politicians that are trying to pass this law, especially with everything that I was hearing a lot of TikTokers say that they was going to do, I mean, a lot of them got YouTube channels. A lot of them got Instagrams. A lot of them got, Facebooks and stuff like that. But a lot of them, their priority was like, we're going to ban, we're going to boycott. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I wonder if it'll work. But shit, I'm about to get all my videos and transfer them all because I still got all my poetry over there. I'm about to transfer all of them to my Shorts channel.
O'Leary has another bid I think it would be wrong to allow Elon Musk to take TikTok.
And Frank McCourt as well. Miranda, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Grassley,
Shit, let us show you know what y'all think about that, right? Man, I've given my opinion in the past. Like, this is crazy. I don't want them to get rid of TikTok. I mean, like, I don't blame a lot of shit that's going on social media. I feel as though as we the people, we've letting it get this far and this bad. Because in reality, if you want to break it down, I mean, you know, drop it down to, you know, the how can I say it? This is a new video. Why was this sent to me? It says 2020. Oh, like I was saying, in reality, a lot of the adults are the one that start these challenges, and a lot of bullshit that these kids end up, you know, following. All they do is end up bettering whatever, you know, challenge or, you know, video an adult uploaded or live that they did, and they just sit here trying to better it, perfect it. So if the adults would stop doing these dumb things, I think a lot of these kids would stop. But hey, you know, listen, man, I could be wrong. You know, like I said, I'm just giving my opinion, my perspective. I'm also throwing some solutions in there, shit. But the next video that we got is called Breaking News. Dick Durbin asks Pam Bondi point blank if Trump lost 2020 election to Biden. Huh. I wonder.
Ms. Bondi, if you're successful in your nomination, this Democrat would like to give you 3 words of advice. Answer Grassley's letters. You'll never hear the end of it if you don't. At issue, I believe, in this nomination hearing is not your competence nor your experience. At issue is your ability to say no. More than any other cabinet official, the Attorney General has to be prepared to put the Constitution first and even tell the President of the United States you're wrong. The political danger and personal costs of such a decision are well documented. You have only to ask former Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr, whom Donald Trump sacked for lack of loyalty. And so I have 3 basic questions I'd like to ask you. Most Americans believe that central to the peaceful transition of power in a democracy is the acceptance of the results of an election. To my knowledge, Donald Trump has never acknowledged the legal results of the 2020 election. Are you prepared to say today under oath without reservation that Donald Trump lost the presidential contest to Joe Biden in 2020?
Ranking Member Durbin, President Biden is the President of the United States. He was duly sworn in, and he is the President of the United States. There was a peaceful transition of power. President Trump left office and was overwhelmingly elected in 2024.
Do you have any doubts that Joe Biden had the majority of votes, electoral votes, necessary to be elected president in 2020?
You know, Senator, all I can tell you as a prosecutor is from my firsthand experience. And I accept the results. I accept, of course, that Joe Biden is president of the United States. But what I can tell you is what I saw firsthand when I went to Pennsylvania as an advocate for the campaign. I was an advocate for the campaign, and I was on the ground in Pennsylvania, and I saw many things there. But do I accept the results? Of course I do. Do I agree with what happened? And I saw so much, you know, no one from...
What did you see? I saw so much. Do I accept the results? Yes. Do I agree? No. I saw so much. But can you please break down what you saw here in Pennsylvania? I'm in Philly. I would love to hear what you say. I mean, what you saw. I mean, because shit. That was the first time I never voted because I didn't want to vote for either Trump or Biden. So what she's trying to say is that Biden, scammed the elections? Biden's people. That's what they're trying to say. So they're trying to say that Biden did to Trump what Trump did to Hillary. Well, it wasn't even them because, you know, they say that they win by the electoral votes. Our votes, you know, they say really don't matter. That's what they say, right?
From either side of the aisle should want there to be any issues with election integrity in our country. We should all want our elections to be free and fair and the rules and the laws to be followed?
I think that question deserved a yes or no. And I think the length of your answer is an indication that you weren't prepared to answer yes.
Huh?
Have you heard the recording of President Trump on January 2nd, 2021, when he urged the Secretary of State of Georgia to, quote, find 11,780 votes and declare him the winner of that state?
No, I've heard about it through clips, but no, Senator, I've not heard it.
What was your reaction to President Trump making that call?
Oh shit.
I would have to listen to the tape, Senator.
Why is she stuttering so much?
Well, the quote that I give you is exact. He said to the Georgia Secretary of State, find 11,780 votes.
Do you have the entire context of that call? I feel like it was much longer than that and may
It
have been
is.
taken out of
It
context.
was an hour long.
Right.
And you can certainly listen to it. I hope you will. Every American should.
Oh shit, where's that call? I want to hear that call. Where that call? Anybody got that link to that video, that audio? I need to hear the call. She's saying that they might have taken it out of context. He said, I suggest you listen to that call. So, I mean, I'm guessing that he knows something about Trump that she don't know. He's trying to tell her, man, I know something you don't know. Don't jump out that window yet. Uh-oh. And this was on January 15th, 2025. Damn, they had a lot of Senate meetings this week.
Former prosecutors, are you not concerned that the President of the United States called a state election official and asked him to find enough votes to change the results of the election?
Senator, I have not listened to the hour-long conversation, but it's my understanding that is not what he asked him to do.
Oh, shit.
You need to listen to it.
Uh-oh.
Let me ask a third question. Do you believe that the January 6 rioters who've been convicted of violent assaults on police officers should be pardoned?
Senator, if confirmed as Attorney General of the United States, the pardons, of course, fall under the president. But if asked to look at those cases, I will look at each case and advise on a case-by-case basis, just as I did my entire career as a prosecutor.
Shouldn't you have
advise the
already
president
seen
of
that?
Pardons. That's part of your responsibility as Attorney General. And so I'm asking you, do you believe that those who've been convicted of the January 6 riot, violent assaults on our police officers, should be pardoned? That's a simple question.
So, Senator, I have not seen any of those files, of course. If confirmed and if asked to advise the president, I will look at each and every file. Let me
You
be
keep saying
very
the same
clear
thing.
in speaking to you. I condemn any violence on a law enforcement officer in this country.
Let me ask you about your work as a lobbyist for Ballard Partners. You did not list your current position as a partner at the lobbying firm, nor the work you've done for your Ballard partner clients, such as lobbying for the country of Qatar for $115,000 a month for corporate giants, Amazon and Uber, when you're asked about conflicts of interest. Why do you believe your work as a lobbyist does not constitute potential conflicts of interest?
Well, Senator, first, that was the amount my firm received. I believe multiple people represented the country of Qatar within my firm. My role, and I am very proud of the work that I did. It was a short time, and I wish it had been longer for Qatar, was anti-human trafficking efforts leading into the World Cup, which is something I'd like to talk about later, too. I was registered as FARA, along with many members of my firm. That was the sole portion of my representation for Qatar. Now, if there are any...
Shout out to the work that she did. She was out here saving, little boys, little girls, men, women from getting, sex trafficked. I know that is something that, listen, I forgot the name of the movie, so we just gonna move on. I really forgot the name of the movie, and it was a soldier that, was trying to save these kids. I forgot the damn name of the movie. That got taken out the city, right? And they had a certain amount of time to find them, right? But he went out his way. Even though she's not a soldier, right? She's an advocate, or I guess a lawyer now. She's Trump's Attorney General nominee. Okay, she's one of Trump's nominees for Attorney General. But that's something right there that I've heard a lot of people that are in that field, like, you know, shit, they cry when they talk about the stories of the kids that, you know, went through what they went through. And the stories from the kids is like, and they look at these people like heroes. So shout out to her for that, yo.
Conflicts with anyone I represented in private practice, I would consult with the career ethics officials within the department and make the appropriate decision. I would also like to point out to you, I don't believe that I would be the first attorney general who has represented and advocated for businesses in their past.
Of course not. The question is whether you will recuse yourself from any case involving your Ballard clients. One of those clients was the GEO group, was it not?
GEO, yes.
A private prison company you lobbied for. It manages correctional institutions and detention facilities. The GEO group has faced criticism for safety violations, inadequate health care, and poor management. The U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is GEO's largest source of revenue. Under the Trump administration, GEO stands to earn hundreds of millions of dollars by detaining immigrants if there is this mass deportation. Would you sense any conflict of interest if you're asked to judge the performance of this government contractor?
Senator, I will consult with the career ethics officials within the Department of Justice and make the appropriate decision.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Graham.
Thank you. Congratulations. You forgot.
Yo, she really practiced for this meeting. Like, she was so professional. She didn't mess up one word. And it sounded like she had a passion for this. But damn, she really tried. I mean, they really try to make it seem, well, I don't know if it's true. Shit, you seen what happened with his son's laptop? Shit, could Biden? I don't know. Damn, people really cheated to get Biden into office here in Pennsylvania. Let me find out. Oh shit.
I have many concerns about.
Okay, Ms. Gilibrano, right? But let us surely know what y'all think and how y'all feel about this last video, right? Y'all can leave your comments in the description box down. I mean, in the description box, right? In the comments down below, right? For anybody that's catching the replay, anybody that's in the chat, y'all more than welcome to let us shorty know what y'all think as y'all watching, right? We're not here to judge at all. Listen, man, like I tell people, I don't have a religion, right? I believe in God, nothing more, nothing less. You see where I'm coming from? And when it comes to politics, right? When it comes to the presidents, even the governors and the senators and all of them, right? I go by policy. I don't know about anybody else, right? But I don't have a side. I really don't. If they have a policy that's for us and it represents us and it helps us, then I'm for that president. There's a reason why I voted for, Stein. But, like I said in the beginning, she wasn't vocal enough. So a lot of people ain't know about her. So she ain't win. But we got you degrade them. Kristen Gillibrand rips Hegseth for harmful comments on women in military. Oh shit. So somebody in the military is degrading women. I've heard about that. And it so happens that it's not, how can I say it? I haven't just heard stories about, right, women being abused and mistreated in the military. I've heard about it in the Army, the Navy, the Guards, and much more. So it's got to be some truth to that, man. And hopefully more awareness get brought to that, because these women are also putting their lives on the line the same way these men do. Like, it's crazy. There should be some type of protection for the women that go out there, right, and fight for this country. Like, for stuff like that not to happen to them, not to get disrespected, not to get abused, mistreated, assaulted, and more. And I know that men go through it, but I hear more stories about the women than I do the men. And what's crazy that a lot of men probably don't even speak about what happens to them in the military, and they might go, it might be hand in hand. So either way, we need to bring awareness. But, all the stories I hear are more about women than men. And it's just like, it makes me like, if I ever hear my daughter say, I want to go to the military to serve, or the Army, the Navy, anything, like, no, I will do everything in my power to keep her here with me.
About your record, and particularly your public statements, because they are so hurtful to the men and women who are currently serving in the U.S. military, harmful to morale, harmful to good order and discipline. If you are saying that women shouldn't be serving in the military, and I'm going to read you your quotes because the quotes themselves are terrible. You will have to change how you see women to do this job well. And I don't know if you are capable of that. So I want to press on these issues that my colleague Jean Shaheen brought up because she said it so well. So first of all, you answered your questionnaire. Do you believe that any American who wants to serve in their country in the military and can meet objective standards set by the military should be allowed to serve without limitation? You've said yes to that question. But then in all of these other circumstances, you've denigrated active duty service members. We have hundreds of women who are currently in the infantry, lethal members of our military serving in the infantry, but you degrade them. You say, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. So specific to Senator Cotton's question, because Senator Cotton was giving you layers to differentiate between different types of combat. And specifically, as secretary, would you take any action to reinstitute the combat arms exclusion for female service members, knowing full well you have hundreds of women doing that job right now? And the standards, your 2 mile run, Tom, is about the Army combat fitness test. It is not the requirements to have an MOS 11 Bravo, which is the infantry. These are the requirements today for people serving in the industry, men and women. They are gender neutral and they are very difficult to meet. They have not been reduced in any way. And our combat units, our infantry is lethal. So please explain specifically, because you will be in charge of 3 million personnel.
Damn, that's crazy to be in charge of 3 million personnel, right? And not have respect for neither one of them, right? Is crazy. Like, I'm not understanding this. I mean, even though I feel as though that when women are, pregnant, they shouldn't, especially in these type of fields. But, that's up to them. I mean, you can't tell nobody what to do, right? But shit, if either one of them, right, met the requirements to get to where they're at, they should get the respect that they deserve, right? You see where I'm coming from? Respect is earned, not just given. So if these people made it that far, met each and every one of those requirements, right, there shouldn't be no disrespect towards a man, especially a woman, right? I'm not understanding none of this, right? But hey, that's how it is here. Welcome to America, land of the free, where you gotta, pay for water, even the air you breathe.
It is a big job. And when you make these public statements, and I get you were not Secretary of Defense then, I get you were on TV, I get you were helping veterans, I get it was a different job. But most recently, you said this in November of 2024, knowing full well you might have been named as Secretary of Defense.
Oh,
So
shit, he's a Secretary of Defense.
These types of statements, because they're brutal and they're mean and they disrespect men and women who are willing to die for this country.
Oh, he out of pocket, the Secretary of
Senator,
Defense.
I appreciate your comments. And I would point out, I have never disparaged
Hey,
women
mira
serving
quién es.
in the military. I respect every single female service member that has put on the uniform, past and present. My critiques, Senator, recently and in the past, and from personal experience, have been instances where I've seen standards lowered, and you mentioned 11 Alpha, 11 Bravo, MOS, places in units, and the book that has been referenced multiple times here, The War on Warriors. I spent months talking to active duty service members, men and women, low ranks, high ranks, combat arms and not combat arms. And what each and every one of them told me, and which personal instances have shown me, is that in ways direct, indirect, overt, and subtle, standards have been changed inside infantry training units, ranger school, infantry battalions, to ensure that
Give me one
commanders
example. Please give me an example. I get you're making these
commanders
generalized
meet
statements.
quotas to have a certain number of female infantry officers or infantry enlisted, and that disparages those women who are
Commanders do
incredibly
not have to
capable
meet
of meeting
quotas
that
for the
standard.
infantry. Commanders do not have to have a quota for women in the infantry. That does not exist. It does not exist. And your statements are creating the impression that these exist, because they do not. There are not quotas. We want the most lethal force. But I'm telling you, having been here for 15 years, listening to testimony about men and women in combat and the type of operations that were successful in Afghanistan and in Iraq, women were essential for many of those units. When Ranger units went in to find where the terrorists hiding in Afghanistan or in Iraq, if they had a woman in the unit, they could go in, talk to the women in a village, say, where are the terrorists hiding? Where are the weapons hiding? And get crucial information to make sure.
Yo, that's true though. I mean, I'm not seeing it in person, but I know people that worked in the military and the army, and I've heard stories, right? I've heard stories from the old heads, like a lot of these women that have retired from the army, the Navy, and all that. And that's one of the things that they're good at, is talking to the women in the villages and, listening to the stories and getting the information and all that. One thing I can agree with her on that, and is, it makes sense though. Another woman would feel more comfortable with another woman talking. And this is difficult right here. What do y'all think? I mean, she's making a good point, a great point at that. So, I mean, they need the women just as much as they need the men in the army, the military, and, all these places.
That we can win that battle. So you cannot denigrate women in general, and your statements do that. We don't want women in the military, especially in combat. What a terrible statement. So please, do not deny that you've made those statements. You have. We take the responsibility of standards very seriously, and we will work with you. I'm equally distressed you would not meet with me before this hearing. We could have covered all of this before you came here, so I could get to the 15 other questions that I want to get to.
Damn.
So women, you have denigrated. You have also denigrated members of the LGBTQ community. Did you know that when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in place, we lost so many crucial personnel, over 1,000 in mission critical areas. We lost 10% of all our foreign language speakers because of a political policy. You said in your statement, you don't want politics in the DOD. Everything you've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women. I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies, you therefore are no longer able to be lethal. I mean, you're basically saying women, after they have children, can't ever serve in the military in a combat role. It's a silly thing to say. It's a silly thing to say beneath the position that you are aspiring to denigrate LGBTQ service.
Yeah, if he said it like that, that's some fucked up shit to say. Because, I mean, after the woman has a baby, if the father decides to stay with the baby, or, the grandmother, grandparent, whoever, she needs them so she can go make that money. I mean, it is not nobody's choice but the mother's choice. We can't sit here and tell the mom, well, no, you can't go to the military. That's what she wants to do. I mean, listen, I can't stop somebody else. Would I want them to stay with their child? Yes. But if that's what the mother wants to do, fight for this country, as they say, there's nothing that you could do about that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, once again, she's making another good point. I mean, unless y'all, say, oh, she's wrong. I mean, I would love to hear it. Like, what, and if she is, why, and how is she wrong?
Service members is a mistake. If you are a sharpshooter, you're as lethal regardless of what your gender identity is, regardless of who you love. So please know this to be a true statement. So you say it was a political thing. You say it undermined us, social engineering. I don't know why someone having to publicly say or not publicly say who they love is social engineering. I think having that policy in the first place was highly problematic. And as you said in your statement, do you agree anybody should be able to serve in the military if they meet the standards?
Senator, as the president, don't disagree with the overturn of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Great, because I don't want you thinking, can't serve if you're a mom, can't serve if you're LGBTQ, and then last, can't serve if you're a leftist. The statements you said about people who have views differently than you, that we're the enemy. Are you saying that 50% of the DOD, if they hold liberal views or leftist views or are Democrats, are not welcome in the military? Are you saying that?
Senator, I volunteered to deploy to Afghanistan under Democrat President Barack Obama. I also volunteered to guard the inauguration of Joe Biden, but was denied the opportunity to serve because I was identified as an extremist by my own unit for a Christian tattoo.
Thank you very much. Senator Gillibrand, you.
Oh, so he a Democrat. Oh, and first Democrat I hear that's against the LGBT community and women, they say. Oh, something's not right.
You held up a document and referred to it during your questioning. Would you like that entered into the record?
Maybe one without my marks.
Okay, yeah, okay, we'll delete.
We'll submit a clean copy.
Without objection, that will be admitted.
What the work that we do, join our Bring the Funk fan club. You heard what we just talked about there, folks.
What in the world?
I can't reiterate.
Was this his video? Oh, shit. All right. So that was that right there. And I'm going to leave it. Let Shorty know what y'all think. I'm going to stop it right here. I did not even know that was his video. Roland S. Martin. Oh, my God. Hopefully they don't give me a little a copyright or a strike. Because some of his copyrights make your videos get blocked. I don't understand that shit. But yeah, let Shorty know what y'all think about that. That's crazy. She made a lot of great talking points. First Democrat I heard that's against the LGBT community. For real. Like, that's crazy. Blessings, Liz B. Journey. Blessings, how you doing, guys? Make sure y'all go check out Liz B. Journey, right? Sub up. Check great conversations, great topic show. You won't be disappointed. All right. So we're gonna watch one more video and then we're gonna move into, the dive down the rabbit hole into our history. And then tomorrow we'll continue with the current news.
Senator Cruz would be.
Oh, Senator Cruz in there. I heard his name. Much watch. John Kennedy sounds off on Attorney General Garland's Trump probe at Pam Bondi hearing. Oh. Okay, let's hear what they gotta say. Let me see. Pam Bondi, Trump's Attorney General nominee, testifies before Senate Judiciary Committee. Don't judge me for saying the word wrong.
Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, welcome. Congratulations. Can we agree that legitimacy is important to America's criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
Can we agree that legitimacy is important to the Department of Justice, which in part administers our criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
And if Americans come to believe that our criminal justice system or our Department of Justice is acting illegitimately, that makes Americans less likely to accept the results of that system, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And that makes Americans less likely to follow the substantive laws that we pass that are administered by the Department of Justice. Isn't that true?
Yes, Senator.
And if that happens, we have chaos, don't we?
Chaos.
And the social contract is breached, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember a person by the name of Michael Avenatti?
Yes.
Who is that?
Several years ago, he was a media star here in Washington.
An attorney, correct?
Yes. He was a media star. And many members of our media loved him because he persistently bashed Donald Trump. And he was on TV every day. He was on CNN more than Wolf Blitzer.
So he was a celebrity attorney. That's basically what he was. And he became famous for bashing Trump. What about him?
Where Mr. Avenatti is today?
I believe he's sitting in prison, Senator.
He's in jail because he was a crook. And the Department of Justice helped put him there, didn't it?
Yes, Senator.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yes, Senator.
Boy genius. So smart and so powerful that he thought he could command the tides. So smart and so powerful and so rich that he would go to meetings with serious people like Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a
I'm just trying to figure out what he getting
to a
to with
John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
in jail.
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Oh shit! That nigga made it to
Because he's a
Netflix.
crook.
Everybody a crook, I see.
The Department of Justice, Senator.
Can we agree that there's some really, really good men and women at the Department of Justice?
Many, many great men and women in the Justice Department, as well, Senator, as all the law enforcement agencies that fall within the Department of Justice. They're out there risking their lives, especially the law enforcement officers, every single day.
Can we
But the same way we got good ones, we got corrupt ones, Joe. And there's more corrupt ones than there is good ones. It's a shame and unfortunate to say.
agree, though, that there have been and may be today some bad people at the Department of Justice?
Yes, Senator.
Okay.
We
We
don't know
agree.
for sure because for the last 4 years, the curtains there have been tightly drawn. But I think a minority of people there have delegitimized America's criminal justice system. The most destabilizing act that I saw in the past 4 years, maybe in the history of the department, is when Attorney General Garland decided on the basis of dubious facts and untested legal theories to criminally prosecute a former president of the United States. And not only that, this is the special part. He decided to do it after the former president of the United States had announced that he was going to run against Attorney General Garland's boss, didn't he?
Senator, are you referring to going after a political opponent?
I think so. Now, this is one person's opinion. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And I say that because, number one, this is America. That had never happened before in America.
Yo, he throwing shots at
That's the
everybody
sort of
right
thing that
now.
happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here. And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It broke the seal. It normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring to conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You got to fix it. And here's what, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them.
Ooh, damn. He sound like the boss of the mafia, the cartel. Hey, find out who the bad guys are and get rid of them. Damn, reminds me of Manum from All the Queen's Men, but this is the man. Like, oh shit. Like, damn. But it seems like it lands on her to fix all the mistakes that everybody made in the recent past.
Find out who the good people are and lift them up, but do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness. Because the temptation of some people is going to be, they're going to tell you, look, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even. Don't resist that temptation. Help us restore legitimacy to the Department of Justice.
Thank you, Senator. Senator.
So was that like her test to pass? It says Justin Pam Bondi has tense exchange with Sheldon, White House over government weaponization. Should we watch this one? Because I was trying to give an hour and 30 minutes for each one. We're only an hour and 12 minutes in. Guys, if you watching, make sure y'all share the video, man, to help the shorty out. It's free to y'all, man, and it means a lot to a shorty, right? I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate my day one subscribers, my new subscribers, and everybody that supports a shorty, yo. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all, yo. Yeah, let's watch this one last video before we dive into the rabbit hole. I'm sorry. I'm catching up to all the current news, yo.
Senator Whitehouse. Thank you, Chairman. Welcome, Ms. Bondi.
Thank you,
Welcome, Ms.
Senator, and
Bondi.
thank you for meeting
Beginning
with
of the
me. I
meeting,
greatly
okay.
appreciate that.
It was a pleasure. Ms. Bondi, you were a courtroom prosecutor for a great many years. As a courtroom prosecutor, did you ever have an enemies list?
No, Senator.
And you went on to be Florida's Attorney General. As Florida's Attorney General, did you ever have an enemies list?
No, Senator.
As Florida's Attorney General, you were responsible for hiring into the Florida Department of Attorney General, correct?
Senator, the Attorney General's office in Florida is the third largest in the state, approximately 1,400 employees and approximately 400 lawyers. Only California and Texas are our bigger offices.
And you were
So,
responsible
yes.
for hiring into that office while you were Attorney General?
Yes.
Would you
Senator.
have hired someone into the Florida Attorney General's office who you knew had an enemies list?
Senator, to cut to the chase, you're clearly talking about Kash Patel. I don't believe he has an enemies list. He made a quote on TV, which I have not heard. I saw your sign or Senator Durbin's sign about Kash, but I know that Kash Patel.
Yo, she's straightforward. She said, cut to the chase, stop playing games, and let's be real. Just ask me a straightforward question. I wish everybody would be like that. Just ask the straightforward question. Stop beating around the bush.
Has had 60 jury trials as a public defender, as a prosecutor. He has great experience in the Intel Department, Department of Defense. I have known Kash, and I believe that Kash is the right person at this time for this job. You'll have the ability to question Mr. Patel.
And I'm
when-
questioning you
when
right
you
now
do.
about whether you will enforce an enemies list that he announced publicly on television.
Oh, Senator, I'm sorry. There will never be an enemies list within the Department of Justice.
Thank you. The FBI's, what is the FBI's role in national security and counterterrorism, and how important is that role?
You know, Senator, I believe now more than ever, counterterrorism is so important and vital in our country. We are facing such incredible threats here and abroad. If I'm sure many of you saw former FBI Director Wray's interview on 60 Minutes, he talked about the threats, that- frankly, again, I don't have my security clearance,
Yeah.
but the threats
given that,
facing us, Senator, from China right now that are so great. With
Given
the
that-
sleeper cells within our country.
We got sleeper
given that
cells.
importance, is it responsible?
Did I hear her right? She said we got sleeper cells in our country, like in the show. Okay, hold on. Do we have sleeper cells in our country? What is a sleeper cell? I'm glad this breaks it down. A sleeper cell is a group of secret operatives who live amongst targeted communities and wait for instructions to act. Sleeper cells are used by spies, terrorists, or other organizations. Oh shit. You saying there's people amongst our communities that start wars? That is crazy. I mean, and it's believable, but is it a conspiracy theory or is it true? A sleeper cell refers to a cell or isolated grouping or sleeper agents that lies dormant until it receives orders or decides to act. Kind of like in the movies. I just wonder how true this is. Oh, they're saying Cuba, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea, Iran, and Syria are the countries that support terrorism, that sponsor terrorism. Oh, shit. Or they're agents in the U.S. Yes, there have been sleeper agents in the United States, including Russian and Soviet sleeper agents. Damn, that is crazy. This is why we got to pay attention to these Senate meetings, these, community meetings. And listen, there's different types of meetings. We just need to pay attention to what's going on around us and tune into these meetings. Even if they're boring to you, at least listen.
To call for shutting down the FBI's counterterrorism and national security work? And will you, as Attorney General, impede or shut down the FBI's counterterrorism and national security work? Two questions.
Senator, I believe that national security is vital right now for our country on so many fronts. I could continue to discuss
And the
many
FBI's
others.
role in that?
And the FBI plays a vital role in counterterrorism
Which you
throughout
will
our
or will
world.
not shut down?
I will look at each agency. I have no intention of shutting anything down right now, Senator. I am not in that office yet. And if confirmed, I will look at each individual agency and how it should be managed. But counterterrorism right now in our world is vital.
You have said that Department of Justice prosecutors will be prosecuted in the Trump administration. What Department of Justice prosecutors will be prosecuted and why?
I said that on TV. I said prosecutors will be prosecuted, to finish the quote, if bad. Investigators will be investigated. We all take an oath, Senator, to uphold the law. None of us are above the law. Let me give you a really good example of a bad.
Say that to Biden, because he's trying to make police officers. Shout out to those police officers that are out there that love their job, right? And they're really out there, to protect and serve, right? But there are officers out there that are very, very corrupted. You see where I'm coming from? So right now, I feel as though that these officers are already protected by a certain law, right? Why try to give them immunity? A lot of them are so corrupted to the point that, listen, bull. Just say that to Trump, okay?
Bad lawyer within the Justice Department, a guy named Klein Smith, who altered a FISA warrant, one of the most important things we can do in this country. So will everyone be held to an equal, fair system of justice if I am the next Attorney General? Absolutely. And no one is above the law.
Under what circumstances will you prosecute journalists for what they write?
I believe in the freedom of speech. Only if anyone commits a crime. It's pretty basic, Senator.
So what if a journalist commits defamation on somebody, lies on somebody, whether they're rich or poor? I don't know if I'm asking, the right question right now, but I'm a little curious.
With anything, with any victim. And this goes back to my entire career for 18 years as a prosecutor and then 8 years as Florida's Attorney General. You find the facts of the case, you apply the law in good faith, and you treat everyone fairly.
And it would not be appropriate for a prosecutor to start with a name and look for a crime. It's a prosecutor's job to start with a crime and look for a name, correct?
Is this a test
Senator,
going through?
I think that is the whole problem with the weaponization that we have seen the last 4 years and what's been happening to Donald Trump. They targeted Donald Trump. They went after him, actually starting back in 2016. They targeted his campaign. They have launched countless investigations against him. That will not be the case if I am Attorney General. I will not politicize that office. I will not target people simply because of their political affiliation. Justice will be administered even-handedly throughout this country. Senator, we've got to bring this country back together. We've got to move forward, or we're going to lose our country.
Yeah, I think the concern is that weaponization of the Justice Department may well occur under your tenure. And we want to make sure that that's not the case, that you remain independent, that you remain able to and willing to tell the president no when that's necessary to protect the Constitution and the integrity of the department. So that's where I'm asking these.
They're trying to make sure that, she's not gullible or easily manipulated or easily, brainwashed. So just in case Trump gets, red button triggered, oh shit. I mean, listen, hopefully she is independent. She sounds like, she's got a good head on her shoulders, right? Really smart, intelligent, right? I mean, she's made a great lot of, great talking points. Like, so, I don't know. We just got to see. So far we know she's one of the nominees, right? So we just got to see what happens. For real. Like, we can't turn back the hands of time, right? People can't take back their votes for the ones that voted the way they voted, right? And either way, shit would have been worse with Kamala. I mean, that's my opinion. If you don't like it, that's on you. Listen, I can't help that. But we will continue with the current news tomorrow. Let us shorty know what y'all think about that video, right? And let's move on, right? We're going to dive down the rabbit hole. So we've been diving down the rabbit hole, right? Trying to, look at the history, right? Our ancestors, the presidents, the war, and much more, right? How much do we know about our history, right? This is also random topics, right? So far we've reviewed and reacts to so many videos, right? We've learned about so many, ethnicities, cultures, right? Different ancestors, different things that happened in the past, right? But how much do we really know? How much more can we learn from our past to understand our present, right? To even understand what's going to happen in the future. But we're not so worried about the future, right? We need to understand our past to understand what's going on around us. So let's get right into it. And for y'all to understand what we're doing today, right, y'all would have to watch our last couple lives. I think this would be part 5, if I'm not mistaken, of us diving down the rabbit hole. So I appreciate everybody that's here. If you know a little more about, a tribe that's being talked about here, right? Because I've said it before, we're all learning together, right? Oh, no, it took me to the wrong one. We're all learning together. So give me 1 second. So like I said, y'all opinions, y'all comments are more than welcomed, right? I appreciate y'all. We've learned about so many tribes. within the past 2.5 weeks already. Yo, I think this is the third week we've been reviewing and reacting to, the tribes, the presidents, the wars, and much more. I appreciate everybody that shared their thoughts, their comments with me, those that have hopped on a panel and had a conversation with a shorty. I appreciate each and every single one of y'all, man. But let's get into today's video. Today, we're going to be watching a video about the black man who designed the city of Washington, D.C.
We get down to the beat, y'all. We get down to the beat, y'all.
Hello and welcome back. In this Black Excellist video, we will highlight the life and accomplishments of Benjamin Banneker. His story is not just about his remarkable achievements as an architect, astronomer, and author, but also a testament to his unwavering commitment to challenging racial prejudices and advocating for equality. Benjamin Banneker, a free black man in a nation grappling with the complexities of freedom and opportunity.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if in the, 1600s, 1700s, and in the 1500s, did they have doctors that took like their DNA, blood samples of them and stuff like that, their DNA? I'm just a little curious because, when they do the ancestry, right, and when they track our DNA, right, how far back can they go? Like, really, how far back? And that, around that time that people, give their DNA, right? Did they go see doctors? And the reason why I say that, right, is like nowadays, right? You got a lot of people that don't want to go to the doctors, right? But you got a lot of people that do go to the doctors, right? But my thing is, right, when we're born, automatically they store your DNA. They take your footprints, right? Toes and all, right? Take fingerprints and handprints. And they got that on paperwork. I'm just wondering how it was back then. How did they, store? Oh, okay. MCAM says yes, nothing is new. Documents. See, I was just a little curious because I wonder how far back do they trace our roots? How far back is it traceable? I appreciate the comment, yo. I appreciate that, yo.
Defied expectations, leaving an enduring legacy that enriches the tapestry of American history. Our nation's capital wouldn't be the dazzling metropolis it is today without the ingenious touch of Benjamin Banneker. And at the turn of the century, when automobiles were still a newfangled marvel, there was another marvel in the making, the city of Washington, D.C. It wasn't just anyone who got to design this historic city. It was none other than George Washington, the very first president of the United States, who decided to give Benjamin Banneker the opportunity. It turns out.
So it was Benjamin Banneker who created Washington, D.C. It wasn't George Washington. Like, come on, man. Like, he was just the president. Okay, he gave him the opportunity. But see, nobody else probably had the talent. So what other option did he have but to give him the opportunity, I guess? Let's be real about it. Probably nobody was better than him.
Who gave him a glowing recommendation and suggested he be part of the planning committee, born on November.
Shout out to Thomas Jefferson, but neither one of them created Washington, D.C. The guy sat here, drew up some paperwork, right? It was his idea, his plan. All these presidents did was approve.
9th, 1731, in the area now known as Ola, Maryland. Benjamin Banneker was the product of unique circumstances. His parents, Mary and Robert Banneker, themselves formerly enslaved, had secured their freedom, providing Benjamin with a rare legacy of liberty in a time when slavery cast a dark shadow over the lives of many African Americans. This freedom, though, did not shield the Banneker family from the racial prejudices of their era. As a child, Benjamin's education began at the hands of his maternal grandmother, Molly Welsh, an English dairymaid falsely accused of theft. Her ability to read during her trial saved her from a death sentence, but led to 7 years of indentured servitude in the American colonies. Molly's resilience and determination in the face of injustice undoubtedly influenced young Benjamin. As a free black child growing up in a society rife with racial tensions, Benjamin Banneker was introduced to both the privileges of freedom and the harsh realities of prejudice. His early education, guided by the wisdom of his indomitable grandmother, Molly Welsh, set the stage for his extraordinary journey. From a young
No disrespect, but Benjamin was what you would call a houseboy, right? He was raised in a house while the other boys were, being outside. So his kind of, his enslavement was a little different, I'm thinking, right?
young age, it was clear that Benjamin Banneker possessed a prodigious intellect. His insatiable curiosity led him to explore the realms of mathematics and science independently. In his early 20s, he embarked on a remarkable endeavor that would astound his community, a wooden clock he constructed using a borrowed pocket watch as his guide. This wooden marvel would keep perfect time for an astonishing 50 years, earning its place as one of the wonders of the region. Young Benjamin's fascination with the inner workings of the world knew no bounds. He was able to create and innovate many inventions with little formal education. Even his handcrafted wooden clock defied the expectations of his time. This wooden timepiece became a symbol of his many ingenuities and marked the beginning of his lifelong exploration of the universe. In 1772, the Ellicott family, Quakers hailing from Pennsylvania, settled in Maryland and established Ellicott Mills, known today as Ellicott City. Fate would soon intervene, leading to a profound friendship between Banneker.
The mills went from because it said it was a farm, so they took over that farm and constructed over it and turned it into a city. How big was that farm? It must have been big.
And the Ellicotts, particularly George Ellicott. George, a land surveyor with a deep passion for astronomy, became Banneker's mentor, providing him with essential tools and books on the celestial sciences. Banneker's thirst for knowledge was unquenchable, and he quickly mastered the intricacies of astronomy. His crowning achievement was the creation of an ephemeris, a set of astronomical projections used in his first almanac. It was in the quiet countryside of Maryland that an extraordinary alliance formed. The Ellicott family and Benjamin Banneker, united by their shared love for astronomy, embarked on a journey that would forever change the course of American history. Together, they unlocked the secrets of the stars. Impressed by his mastery of astronomy and mathematics, the Ellicotts invited Banneker to join them in a groundbreaking endeavor, the survey of the nation's new capital, Washington, D.C. Using celestial observations to determine latitude and longitude, Banneker played a pivotal role in plotting the city's boundaries. The accuracy of his calculations earned him respect and admiration. Upon his return to his farm, Banneker undertook a new mission, the publication of a series of almanacs that combined astronomical data with proverbs, mathematical puzzles, and essays decrying the injustices of slavery. Between 1792...
Wait, I'm a little lost, right? What does that have to do with him building the city of Washington, D.C.? Designed. It just says that he designed the city of Washington, D.C. But why do they need astrology to build a city?
In 1797, he published 6 almanacs that became bestsellers. In the heart of a new nation's capital, Benjamin Banneker's calculations and insights transcended the boundaries of his time. He charted the path for the city's development, and his almanacs, infused with wisdom and social commentary, ignited discussions about justice and equality. Throughout his life, Benjamin Banneker grappled with the harsh reality of slavery. His conviction in the face of this inhumane captivity fueled
You're welcome, Miss Chicago. I
difference.
appreciate that. I just
In a
like
bold
learning.
move, he penned a letter to Thomas Jefferson, then Secretary of State, calling for the recognition of the cruelty of slavery and urging Jefferson to use his position to seek freedom for those in bondage. Accompanying his letter was a manuscript.
So this man was one of the reasons why Jefferson, but wait, let me go back. I gotta make sure I heard it correctly before I give my thought.
In the face of this inhumane captivity, fueled his determination to make a difference. In a bold move, he penned a letter to Thomas Jefferson, then Secretary of State, calling for the recognition of the cruelty of slavery and urging Jefferson to use his position to seek freedom for those in bondage.
So I was right. So he wrote the letter to Jefferson. Jefferson wasn't even president yet. He was just the Secretary of State. And marks the beginning of how a lot of slaves were freed around this time. So it wasn't just because Jefferson did it out of the kindness of his heart. Other people were involved in him making that decision. People persuaded him. Because I have a video that they sent me, one on Abraham Lincoln and one on, Jefferson, and it's like an hour long. So those are going to be videos that we do, alive on its own. And it talks about the untold truth, the hidden truth about these two presidents. So we learn something new every day. You see what I mean?
Accompanying his letter was a manuscript of his upcoming 1792 almanac. Jefferson acknowledged Banneker's plea for liberty and sent his almanac to the Academy of Sciences in Paris, France, a moment of profound validation for Banneker. Benjamin Banneker's voice, unwavering and resolute, resonated through the corridors of power. His impassioned letter to Thomas Jefferson echoed the sentiments of countless others who yearned for freedom and justice. Banneker's almanac found its place in the annals of international recognition. On October 25, 1806, at the age of 74, Benjamin Banneker
he was old already.
passed away. He never married nor had children, but his
That's
legacy
crazy.
as an intellectual, astronomer, and mathematician was etched into the annals of history. For over 2 centuries, his life story has inspired countless generations, igniting the flames of curiosity and resilience. The world lost a brilliant mind, but the legacy of Benjamin Banneker endured. He may have departed this realm, but his impact resonates through the ages, reminding us all that knowledge, determination, and the pursuit of justice have the power to shape the world. In the
I ain't gonna sit here and lie. It was easier for him to do all that because he had no kids. He died in his 70s, right? At the age of 73, I think they just said, right? With no kids. In the majority of his life, he spent it designing, I guess how Washington, D.C. was going, look like, and trying to get people. And I don't know if he teamed up with other people. I guess we'll find out on other videos, right? As we go along in this journey. But it seemed like him and probably other people had, was the reason, right, that Jefferson was persuaded to help the slaves. So it wasn't that it just came out of Jefferson's kind, lovely heart. But, let's continue. My bad. But damn, man, shout out to him, yo. That shit crazy.
remarkable life of Benjamin Banneker, we find a beacon of knowledge and equality. His journey from a free African American in colonial Maryland to a renowned astronomer, mathematician, and activist stands as a testament to the human spirit's ability to transcend adversity. Banneker's legacy reminds us that regardless of the challenges we face, the pursuit of knowledge and the fight for justice can lead to profound and lasting change. His story serves as an inspiration for all, a call to embrace curiosity, resilience, and the unwavering belief.
Yo, that ain't no lie, because I don't get tired of saying this. Something that was taught to me by my elders, right? And in order to understand our present, to know what's going on, we first must find out the truth about our past.
Although some of his peers recognize his intellectual merits, Banneker was mostly overlooked or discredited. The reaction to his achievements reveals the rigid cultural patterns and racial attitudes of the Federalist and Jeffersonian eras. Although the Banneker Institute was opened in 1854, Banneker did not receive the recognition he deserved until the 20th century. During the Civil Rights Movement, landmarks related to Banneker were commemorated in states like Maryland. And history books, especially those focusing on African American pioneers, began including his noteworthy achievements. In 1980, United States Postal Service designed a stamp featuring Banneker, the first American astronomer so honored. Today, there are several schools, parks, museums, and facilities named in Banneker's honor. For example, the Maryland Historical Society sponsors the Banneker Douglas Museum, a historic church in Annapolis, Maryland. And speaking of the legacy of Banneker's almanacs, the traditional type survives in the Old Farmer's Almanac, which has been continuously published in the United States.
I mean, they keep saying did he say one of the first, or he said the first astrologer? I mean, I don't know. He could be one of the first, but I think they were astrologers before him. So it's kind of like when they say Obama was the first president, right? And now they're saying, I think Eisenhower was the first black president, right? But everybody keeps forgetting that before George Washington became president, right, there was a black president before him. I mean, just do y'all research. Don't go by what a shorty is saying. Please go do y'all research. But let's continue. Let's continue.
United States since 1792. But the best known type of almanac is now a handy and dependable collection of a vast array of statistical, historical, and other information.
We appreciate the fact that you stayed.
Ooh, I appreciate the lesson for today. I mean, if y'all want to go check out Black Excellence Excellist, y'all can go check him out. We're gonna move on to the next video. Let a shorty know what y'all think about this video, right? If you can relate. I mean, if y'all know, how much truth is to everything that he said, but it seems to be factual. I was checking in the back with Google, right? I have no other, resources right now. I'm not pulling out histories listen, them history books, I am not searching. There's a lot. Plus, there's different stories in the history books. Same thing with the videos, right? So we're gonna be looking at a lot of videos. Like I said, we're gonna be having a journey on this, right? We're gonna be like right now we're heavy on it because we're diving down it to learn a lot right now, different cultures, different ethnicities. We're not gonna be able to do that in 1 hour, 24 hours, or 48 hours. So within the next couple of weeks, right? I know tomorrow we're gonna do some TikTok reactions and we're gonna dive down the rabbit hole along with some current news, right? And we're gonna dive continue this. But yeah, like shit, we're gonna mix it up a little bit. We also got to get into the sex crimes and much more. So shit, I appreciate all y'all support. And like I said, we're not here to judge nobody. If y'all know something, right? If you know that they are probably wrong about something that they're saying because it's the tribe that that is your tribe, hey, let a shorty know. If a shorty is wrong about something, hey, let a shorty know. I could be wrong about something, shit. But let's move on to the next video, right? I appreciate all of y'all.
Ancient and medieval.
We're gonna do. Let me see how long I've been on here. Oh, we good. We good. We still got a whole nother hour. We're gonna dive down this video, a history of boats and sea voyages in Africa. All right, so let's see what this video is about.
Medieval Africa is seldom associated with boats, ships, or sea voyages in general. But if we just do a little research, we'll see that Africans have been using sea vessels for various purposes. Today, I wanted to touch on some of the moments in African history where vessels were used in a significant way. What up, African World? It's Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. By supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and supporting this content. If you'd like access to full courses and sources, or you simply want to show your support, you may do so by clicking the Patreon link in the description box below. For this video, I'll be focusing on other parts of Africa outside of Egypt and Carthage, because we know a lot more about the use and existence of Egyptian and Carthaginian sea vessels. So keep that in mind. East Africa in general has an extensive history of sea voyages. One of the interesting ways we know this is through the various coins found along the Swahili coast from different kingdoms and empires around the globe. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a Greco-Roman manuscript that documents ports and coastal landmarks, tells us about the long-standing trade route along the East African coast that links with other ports in Arabia, Egypt, and all the way into China. Eastern Africa in general was the main source of ivory for both the Mediterranean world and the Far East. Chinese coins dating all the way back to the Tang Dynasty have been discovered along the Swahili coast and proves a long history of trade between these civilizations. In Mogadishu, coins were found dating to the 12th and 13th centuries, originating all the way from India. Another interesting find.
That's crazy. This kind of explains why, right? I've heard a lot of people say, oh, Chinese and Africans don't get along. But when you go into TikTok, right, and you look at the different videos and the different cultures, right? I mean, TikTok, hopefully they don't ban it, man. But, they saying that by the 20th it's going to be gone. But anyways, back on topic, right? They, you see different cultures and different ethnicities together, right? And I've heard a lot of Asian dads, a lot of, Korean dads, a lot of Chinese dads, Japanese dads, right? actually agree with their daughters marrying somebody that's from Africa or Ethiopian or somebody that's from America, as long as they're not broke and bums and deadbeats. They got good heads on their shoulders. They can support their daughters and stuff like that. They don't give a fuck. They're not judging nobody by their color or their ethnicity. But it's crazy, right? When you hear different people here in America, they make it seem like those two cultures, them two ethnicities, are always at war. Probably the people that are running the country, but I think that the people, the regular civilians, don't really behave or act the way they got us thinking over here in America. Hey, but maybe I could be wrong. Once again, like I said, this is just my opinion and my thought.
Was the discovery of a coin minted for the Mongol ruler Palugu Khan, which was found in Mafia Island off the coast of Tanzania. This is absolutely fascinating stuff if you're a lover of African history, and it reveals just how interconnected Africa was with the rest of the world. So what kind of evidence other than coins do we have, oral or written, concerning African people sailing the sea, whether to do battle, trade, or explore? Because some may not be convinced this is enough to prove sea voyages in Africa. Well, according to what we know for sure, the inhabitants of Ethiopia and Somalia
Are those sharks
did
over there or
cross
boats?
the Red Sea
Oh, they
and
boats.
the Bay of Aden in their ships. And during the Middle Ages, Ethiopians and Swahili peoples did make voyages in the Arabian Sea and the
Oh,
Indian
shit.
Ocean. The reason why this information is not as popular is because it simply hasn't been investigated as it should, even though we know it happened. Because Romans, Indians, and Southern Arabs were probably the first group of people to use monsoon routes for establishing shorter sea routes, research concerning sea voyages has been largely one-sided, with Africa largely being ignored. The closest we get to any written evidence of East Africans going out into the sea comes from a rather unreliable source from Diodorus Siculus, who speaks about a certain character named Yambulus. Most scholars don't take the story serious.
So how serious can we take these stories if they're unreliable? I mean, I'm just asking a question. You see where I'm coming from? It's kind of like, all right, the Spaniards, right? The Europeans, the British, right? The Vikings and all of them, what they did, right? They try to wipe down history, erase history, right? And then retell history, rewrite history, right? How much should we believe? Is it even true of what you see where I'm coming from? Like, I could put this in so many ways. So if somebody's unreliable, how can we believe what they're saying? I mean, I'm just asking. Let's continue.
But the claim is that Yambulus, a Greek or Nabatean merchant, went through Arabia to the country of spices, but then was captured by Ethiopian pirates who lived somewhere north of Somalia. According to the account, it was the custom of Ethiopians after each 20 generations or 600 years to send a boat with 2 men into the ocean. Those 2 individuals were given food and water for 6 months.
Sure, that
And
water looks
after
so
several
clean and
months
so
of
clear.
travel, the boat was to reach an island inhabited by wise people. In this case, the Ethiopians mentioned may have been in reference to Somalis, but it's hard to say for sure. Regardless if this story is true or not, this is the first official written account concerning voyages of Africans out in the open sea, specifically the Indian Ocean.
So how do we confirm if their story is true or not? Right? I mean, how do we know that, they telling the truth? Like, do they got proof? Do they got scripts? The writings on the wall? Like, they dig underground and found, proof. How can I say it? Old scriptures, old, treasures, like mugs, bowls and stuff like that. Not regular bowls. Everything was out of clay, mud, and all that stuff done back then. But I mean, I hope y'all get my point. I'm just asking some questions, right? Because they're saying that a lot of this is unreliable because they haven't researched it enough. So why don't we do the research and figure it out? Listen, man, I would love to get me an RV and travel, yo. I swear to God, yo, and visit different cities, lands, right? Like, countries, states. Like, I would love to travel just to see all these things for myself.
The story seems to have a mythical or legendary feel to it, and that's why scholars don't really take it serious. Regardless, it's very interesting to know. Later, a more realistic account seems to speak about East Africans in the open sea. Strabo tells us that East African sea voyages were occasionally made, although rare. Here's what he has to say. Ethiopians scarcely used the Erythraean Sea at all. It's hard to tell how he would actually know that for sure, but in general, in his time, he does acknowledge that Africans went out on the sea, even if it was rare. There are more tales and traditions that speak about Africans traveling in the ocean, like the people of the Aksumite Empire going to India by sea in the 5th.
So basically, the beautiful Miss Genesis in the building, guys. Make sure y'all go check out Miss Genesis, yo, GO3P, right? Listen, great conversations, great topics, and she does a lot. Let me say it right this time. ASMR. I was about to say Ashmere, but no, Ray, stop reading it. You don't read it. It's ASMR. So make sure y'all go check her out. My daughter loves her channel. Like I said, once again, ASMR. She does a lot of that, and it does draw the kids' attention, man. I appreciate Miss Genesis, yo. Make sure y'all go check her out. And if y'all love what she's doing, make sure y'all subscribe, right? Share her videos and smash that like button for her, man. Listen, we appreciate the support, yo. But she also be having lives, great conversations, and great topics, yo. Go check her out. I really appreciate Miss Genesis one, yo. Miss Genesis! We got Miss Genesis in the building. So let's continue. Much love, much respect, yo. Like I said, check her out. Let's continue, y'all. Like, yo, this is crazy.
5th and 6th century, but there isn't enough information to say conclusively. But there does exist more tangible instances of sea vessels.
Oh shit, my bad. I forgot what I was gonna say. See, I gotta pause it again. Let me rewind that 5 seconds, right? But yeah, is it like okay? So what he was trying to say is right. These different tribes took different routes. So the Africans never traveled the sea; they only traveled by the ocean. So these other tribes over here were the ones traveling by sea. So what happened? So I'm guessing he's going to get into it. That's why I said let me rewind it back. I mean, let me rewind it back real quick, yo. I'm over here eating my own words. Like, Rachel, get it together. Wake up. Snap.
To India by sea in the 5th and 6th century, but there isn't enough information to say conclusively. But there does exist more tangible instances of sea vessels being used in general, at least on a river. 3 of them for use in battle, and 1 for exploration in the open sea. In ancient times, King Paenki sought to establish Kushite rule over Egypt and set out to conquer. In King Paenki's victory stela, which he commissioned to be written concerning how he conquered Egypt, this is what he has to say.
How did he conquer Egypt?
Then he sent his ships and his troops to assault the harbor of Memphis. There was not a common soldier who wept among the entire army of His Majesty. His Majesty himself went to arrange the battle formation of the ships. Then Memphis was taken like a cloudburst, with numerous people slain within it, in addition to those brought as prisoners.
Wait. Is he talking about the city of Memphis, or is he talking like a boat or something? Because Egypt is in Egypt and Memphis is here. Isn't Memphis like in it's not in Detroit. I forgot where Memphis was at. Damn. I'm tripping. But I mean, I don't think he's talking about the city of Memphis, right? Is there a city of Memphis in Chicago? Chicago, you hear me? In Egypt? I don't know. I'm about to look that up. Blessings. Memphis, Tennessee. There you go. Blessings, Frankie Blanco. Thank you for that. Blessings. Welcome to the live, yo. Oh, I didn't know there was a Memphis in Egypt, though, because this is the king of Egypt. So they took over Memphis, Tennessee here in America. Was it called Memphis in that time? I don't think it was called Memphis at that time, was it? I don't know. We'll find out.
To the place where His Majesty was. So from this account, it seems as though the ships were used to lay siege to Memphis and help take the city. Now, it isn't clear if these were Egyptian ships or Kushite ships, but because they shared a similar culture and civilization, there certainly would have been some overlap. Another siege on an African city took place in West Africa.
They had a whole
under the great
damn
Songhai
horse in that boat.
conqueror, Sunni Ali. The Tariq al-Fatash, one of the primary documents concerning the history of the Songhai Empire, tells us about how Sunni Ali laid siege to the city of Jenne.
That looked more
The
like a
Shi
canoe.
laid siege to the town with the help of 400 pirogues, seeking to impede all who wished to leave or enter it. So according to the Tariq al-Fatash, Sunni Ali used a considerable amount of water vessels along the Niger River to lay siege to the city of Jenne, eventually forcing it to surrender. This is the most significant account of naval activity for West African Empire and testament to their capabilities. The most significant account of an East African naval battle comes to us from the Ajuran Empire in Somalia, when they allied with the Ottomans in a naval struggle against the Portuguese. Our last instance of an
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Shout out to Frankie Blanco. See, like I said, you learn something new every day. Listen, just because I know a lot of things, right, don't mean I know everything. There's always going to be somebody out there that knows something more than me, right? And understands something better than me, or could break something better than me, break something down better than me. Let me say the things right here on social media, because people will misconstrue what I say. And whew. But yeah, I appreciate Frankie for that. So for those of y'all that didn't know that, like I didn't know that, I appreciate him for that, because I was a little lost.
extensive sea voyage was the account given by Mansa Musa, which was about his predecessor, who wanted to explore the Atlantic Ocean. This happened in the 14th century, way before Christopher Columbus.
Damn.
Even though some scholars are skeptical, the description of a current running through the middle of the ocean described by the Mandinka themselves.
The Mandinga. Oh shit. So this happened way before the Europeans and the Spaniards, I guess. Ooh, so y'all see, it gets deeper. Even though this is all allegedly, right, and they don't know how much of it is true, right? Well, I mean, me putting this out there, I hope y'all do your own research. There's different videos out here, right, that could depict it and break down certain parts of this history, right? So my whole point of this is, right, so y'all could it's kind of like a stepping stone. I bring it out here, y'all do your own research. Y'all don't gotta go by what I'm saying, right, why this person is saying, right? Because we got, like I said, different videos out there. It's up to y'all to do y'all research. Like, we just learning, each one teach one.
Is significant evidence that they actually sailed the Atlantic.
And by the way, make sure y'all go check out Frankie Blanco, yo. Great beats, great music, yo. Check him out. If y'all like, subscribe, share, man, show him some support.
Here is what the captain said to the Mansa upon his return from his failed mission in the Atlantic. Yes, O Sultan, we traveled for a long time until there appeared in the open sea, as it were, a river with a powerful current. The other ships went on ahead, but when they reached that place, they did not return. As for me, I went about at once and did not enter that river.
Oh shit! Is he trying to say that everybody that entered there got unalived? So it taught him to be cautious.
Given the information in this account by the captain, it seems he's referring to an actual current in the Atlantic Ocean known as a Canary Current, a year-round movement of water flowing south along the West African coast from what is now southern Morocco to Guinea, the current being some 1,000 kilometers.
That's crazy. Frankie, you should be able to drop your link down below so people can go check you out if they want to.
In width, it would have been very difficult to miss. Regardless of the details, whether it's true or not, the fact remains that this West African voyage is documented from Mansa Musa himself. All in all, Africa does have an extensive history of sea voyages that comes to us via oral and written tradition. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box.
Yo, this is crazy, because one thing that we've learned watching these videos is that in the very beginning, right, before Columbus, before the Spaniards, right, before all that happened, right, all these was one land, different tribes of Africans, right? So what would the Egyptians have been considered then, right? Because they were split up, right? There were different tribes. Were they like African Egyptians, Egyptian Africans, right? Before all this, war and all this shit started happening before the Columbus, right? And they was already beefing with each other, but still, was it just an Egyptian tribe? Hey, I listen, I'm gonna learn more as I dive down this, right? And another thing I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start picking up these history books again, right? It's been a little minute, but I'm definitely gonna start picking them up again. And I think I'm gonna start from the very first one, from A all the way to Z. Yeah, they're in alphabetical order. Don't judge a shorty. For some reason, my history books are all in alphabetical order, like the encyclopedias and everything else. Hey, I guess, but I'm gonna start from A all the way down to Z. I'm definitely about to do that and compare them to these videos, each and every one of them. I'm definitely about to start doing that shit. I be having a lot of free time sometimes. So when my kids are sleeping, I'm not doing this podcasting and I'm not doing community work, right? As a community activist, shit. Why not? It'll be something interesting to do. I think that's a little journey I'm gonna set for myself. Hey, what happened? You ain't let me pause? All right. So let us really know what y'all think about that video right down below. For those that are catching the replay, I appreciate everybody in the chat, right? Those that are, chatting with a shorty, putting their input, right? Their perspective, right? Because listen, man, y'all might know something I don't know. If y'all, if y'all have a tribe that if your tribe is the one we're reacting to today or tomorrow, say something, give your opinion. If they're wrong, if I'm wrong, let a shorty know. Shit, we all listen. They say that we can't figure out who our real ancestors are. Hey, I say that I think we can. Some way, somehow, we should be able to. Because they make it seem like all this technology that's from today is brand new, and I feel as though that it's not. Call me crazy, right? And it's not even by conspiracy theory. It's like I tell people, I used to love reading these history books, right? And even though it's been maybe 4 years that I haven't really sat down and read a history book like that, I could honestly say that I think going back and refreshing my mind, boy, it's going, how can I say, expand my noggin. I'm gonna say it like that, right? Make me a little wiser. Because, I'll go more by them, even though there's different types of history books. I got a few from the school. I got a few that were given to me. I got a few that were, from the library. Kept them bitches. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. And I got a whole lot that I sat here and purchased. But them library books, I ain't sending them back. Shit, that was back when I was in high school. I forgot to return them bitches, and guess what? They mine's now. But anyways, let's continue. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. They not getting them books back. They mines. I'm dissecting each and every one of them books. But anyways, let's get back into it, right? We're going to get into this video called The Conquest of Spain, a history of the Moors in Spain. Caba Camini. I hope I said that right. This is, okay. Caba Camini and Flora. Yeah, I said it right. And Flora S. Lugard. And this is a part 1. I guess I'm going to have to find part 2. Do we have part 2 in here? No, we do not have a part 2. But hey, let's take a look into this. Let's take a little dive. It's a 9 minute 24 second video. And I am definitely going to find part 2. And we're going to react to it. I'm not sure when, but we're going to find it. But let's take a look-see. So I'm guessing whoever sent me this video I don't know if they paid attention that there was a second part to this. But I'm looking. And then again, I only have this in order by the timing. So I don't know. It could be in this list. Let's check it out. The Conquest of Spain.
One of the things that's interesting, particularly with the information that's been coming out recently, is the fact that there are historians, anthropologists, and archaeologists that are saying that the interpretations of the ancient world cannot really be defined because there's a lack of continuity as it relates to the peoples and the places, the events, and the things that have taken place. And the reason why that is, and it's quite simply because these different scholars do not want to get into the reality that, as Dr. John Henrik Clarke often taught us, the missing pages of world history is
I keep saying that, yo, there's a lot of missing pages. You on the StreamYard? Oh shit. My bad. My bad. If you wouldn't have texted me, I wouldn't have known that. Blessings. I apologize for that. I didn't even know that unless you put that in the chat because I'm on the other screen.
I just make sure you can hear the audio.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Now you cooking right now though. I don't want to cut your presentation though. I'm
Oh, you good? You good? That's why the link is down there so people can come up
I
and
figured
speak.
that too, and I never blessed the panel too. You know, you always come through. But yeah, this is a good one right here. The Moors is like a really, you know, it puts a lot of things in perspective, right? Because just to get it, go ahead, just play it. I'll watch it with you if you don't mind, and then I just put my feedback.
All right, bet. That's how you want. I got you.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much.
Wait. Oh, it's this one right here. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna let it play, and then Frankie gonna get his perspective in a second. So let's listen to what they gotta say. I mean, we've been learning a lot about the Moors, guys. So I appreciate Frankie for his perspective.
African history. And so it becomes important that if you want a true interpretation of the culture, of the people, and the places, there is no way that you can leave Africa out. But because of the sociological conditions of always attempting to make it seem as if African peoples are inferior, primitive, that they have not contributed anything to civilization, because they lack that ability or desire to, we never get the proper cultural interpretations. And so the work that we're doing is meant to look at the world before the European began to write the history books.
I definitely will, Miss
And
Genesis.
to truly understand the Moors, you have to go before the people that we call the Moors. We're dealing with episodic history, and we're dealing with holistic history. The episodic history takes episodes, such as the West African kingdoms that people give credit to. The Ghana Empire, the Malinki Empire, the Songhai Empire. When you look at Egypt, they go from the first dynasty and on. And when you're dealing with the Moors, they tend to look at 710 when it was reconnoitered by Tarif, one of the lieutenants of the African general Tariq, that went in to reconnoiter the southern part of Europe, specifically Spain. And then 711, July of 711 to be exact, Tariq and his African warriors and some Arab translators crossed over into Spain and began their conquest of this area. This was a preemptive strike.
Oh, so they went and tried to conquer Spain. I wonder if we're gonna continue like that. I didn't know about this.
Real quick, if you don't mind, real quick. I think there was because they crossed the Iberian Peninsula from North Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Like
Yeah.
But they went into I think it was England. I thought they invaded, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was England, but Europe. But I don't think it was Spain itself. But
No, the on one of the videos we reacted to the last time they do talk about Europe. So that's why I'm over here like, oh, I didn't know they did this with Spain too. Like I'm over here like, so that they get their clap back, or that they lose. Like this is crazy. I didn't know about that because they're made to seem to have lost every battle, each and every African, whether it's a indigenous or, I mean, I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. Like,
no, just run it back. I want to hear what he said real quick.
This is crazy. Hold on. Let's see. I hope that's good.
As the West African kingdoms that people give credit to, the Ghana Empire, the Malinki Empire, the Songhai Empire. When you look at Egypt, they go from the first dynasty and on. And when you're dealing with the Moors, they tend to look at 710 when it was reconnoitered by Tarif, one of the lieutenants of the African general Tariq, that went in to reconnoiter the southern part of Europe, specifically Spain. And then 711, July of 711 to be exact, Tariq and his African warriors and some Arab translators crossed over into Spain and began their conquest of this area. This was a preemptive strike.
Conquest.
Yeah, pause it real quick. So
That's a difference.
now,
He said conquest.
Yeah, but now I understand what he was saying, right? Because at the one point, Portugal and Spain were the rulers of all the world, right? That's what the doctrine of discovery was. And basically, the church, the Pope, it gave them jurisdiction to split the world in half, the hemispheres, and Portugal gets one side and Spain gets the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to just, if you already know, I don't want to speak it, but what I'm saying is that Europe was owned by Spain because at one point they were Visigoths and they didn't know how to read or write, and they were very it was almost the Dark Ages, they were still in like medieval times, so they didn't bathe. You know what I mean? They felt like their belief was that if they bathed, they were washing away their good fortune. So
I heard about that.
Yeah, their cities was they all used to poop in the middle of the city, like the town.
I'm
Because there was no
dead.
running, they didn't have no running water, irrigation, and that set up right. They didn't. So that's probably what he's leading up to, because I don't want to cut it off, but he's gonna basically bring how the Moors, brought that kind of that understanding and those kind of like they helped civilization, right? They civilized the people at that time. But
So it was the Moors who helped them
basically
get civilized.
It was Europe, but they were owned by, because they're gonna. I don't know if he's gonna mention it. That's Booker T. Coleman, by the way, too. He's a great dude. But they're gonna mention how they slaughtered King Roderick, which was one of the kings of that lower area of Europe. You know what I mean? And that's how they were able to keep. They didn't keep pushing. What they did was they just kept stockpiling right there at that lower point before there was enough to spread out. And they started conquering slowly. But once they killed that big, I guess he was like a prince. His name was King Roderick. He was like a big.
No, your story sounds familiar. I'm listening.
Yeah,
This sounds familiar.
He didn't expect them, because they remember at one point they were Caliphites and Berbers, so they were like almost like nomadic African tribes that on the coastlines. You know what I mean? And almost Arab mixed too. And that's what the Rock of Gibraltar is named after. It's the guy named Tariq. You know what I mean? Tariq El Bey, and Tariq was his leader. And what happened was they both went like first Tariq. I don't want to cut your show, but you see, I'm interested because
Oh no, you good. You good. That's what the link is for.
Yeah, I like the studies on this type.
Listen, a lot of people are scared to say what you about to say. Like, I know these be touchy subjects, but the whole point is,
it's not. I mean,
yeah.
I've done a lot of observations and studying, but I'm just saying anybody could be at least basically corrected. But with that being said, even our cathedrals and our churches at one point, if you ever really noticed, some of the churches still have them. The glass paintings have black popes and all that, black priests. You know what I mean? Dark skin, and then they kind of like that's what it was. All the wars through history, they erase it. You know what I mean? They'll change the whole. You know what I mean? The artwork. You know what I mean? Like even when you watch movies nowadays, Egypt is more whitewashed, right? You see more light-skinned Egyptians than you will see dark skins, which they say at that time, the sun is a fucking 170 degrees. It's hard to just be light-skinned. You know what I mean? In those areas, you know what I mean? Like you only Blanquito and everybody got everybody got the Donald Trump chant at least, nigga. If you ain't brown, you orange. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're not lying though. But it's crazy because when you listen to the history being told in schools and in movies, it's different from when you watch these actual videos of people traveling and going to these places, whether it's to eat or to learn the culture. And there's a lot. That's why I say YouTube is a big platform, and if people how can I say it, expand out of one certain sector, they would see the different I don't know how to break it down, but you get my point. Like,
you 100% right, because people are stuck in their ways, and it's like almost like cognitive dissonance, right? You don't want to let your foundation be rumbled or shattered or have a crack, because everything you grew up learning, you might have thought that's how I'm going to stay with. Once you start hearing opinion, opposite facts or even just theories of what you thought was 100% solid, that's like, for example, just the Jesus story, and that's just my opinion. Those things will shake and rock your foundation, right? Because you gotta you got to be able to accept both sides. Nobody really knows the truth what happens when you die here. But you know what I mean? If somebody's selling you fucking golden wings and he's saying you just follow my word, you know what I mean? Then who's to say who won't fall into that trap? You know what I mean? How are we gonna be promised something like you promise eternity and happiness after this if you follow these rules, right? But how the fuck do they know that if they've never been there?
No, that's what
I
I'll
don't
be.
need church, I apologize. But I'm just saying.
Oh no, you good.
Go back to the more shit though. Yeah, they're the ones who brought up, order into that type of town in those areas in them like western, the southern tip of Europe. You know what I mean? Like that's part. And then I guess Spain wasn't able to react right away because Spain is so far away that by the time they got word that the Muslims was coming in, you know what I mean? They was already conquering shit. And these people are more modernized, right? Their mind state is civilized. They have a language. They understand mathematics. You understand? They have goods, trades. They the Phoenicians and all that. That shit goes back into history where these people were good on the trades. On the trade
way
route.
back.
They already knew. But when they said conquering, that was the key word, right? They're going in there to slaughter. You know what I mean? If you don't convert to Muslim, to being a Muslim, we ain't hearing that cross stuff. You know what I mean? Which is tough because more people died under the name of God in this whole history of mankind or life period. I don't want to say mankind because it's like forgetting a woman, but yeah, mankind period. Like think about how much people didn't back in them days if you didn't believe one God, and there was many gods. Greek and Roman days. I didn't know who to believe. You got me believing the sun, the water, the hell. Who am I praying to? Like 78 prayers every day. Shit.
I've said that before. Like once I started understanding like the chapters of the Bible and I started, expanding towards the history books and stuff. And this was me young and I wasn't understanding nothing. But like I tell people, what drew me to history, and it shocks a lot of people that I say this, is the horror movies. I was a young little girl that watched horror movies since the people wouldn't explain a lot of shit that was said and done. And I've had questions, right? Especially when you see these horror movies and they talk a lot about the Catholic churches and the popes and all this stuff. You see, so it's kind of like, you're not answering my question. I'm going to go do my own research. So when I did my own research, it's like, okay, this is not adding up. So people would call me crazy. I was like, I know I'm not crazy. I'm like, but like when you're young, you don't really focus on that and you don't really understand anyways, even when the questions are not even being answered. So it's like you're
almost bliss, you're ignorant to the facts.
So it's kind of like that was my situation until I got older. And then, kids started asking questions, wanting to know about, my parents, and I was like, I already had questions that wasn't really answered, or like the stories my grandpa would tell me I didn't really believe because it sounded, kind of crazy. But as I got older, I understood his stories because they were told kind of, you know how grandparents are. They from he was a viejito from PR. So when he would come here and sit down with me,
those are the best ones. Those stories
yes,
are so detailed, and sound effects, especially from a Spanish or Puerto Rican, they got the best everything. They clapping, they zipping, shoot.
Yeah, he was telling me the stories about the military, the army, him being here in Puerto Rico, how he experienced the slavery a little bit, and I believe it because listen, like my grandpa died in, I think he was in his 80s, if I'm not mistaken. Right. And he was, I think born in, if I'm not mistaken, around the 40s. Right. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was his birth date around the 40s. Around the 40s. Yeah. So he experienced a lot of that. He would tell me a lot of his grandparents' stories and stuff like that. But as a kid, I didn't understand it until my kids started asking questions, and then I would go back and think about what he would say about his time here in the United States, his time in PR and stuff like that, the stuff that he did, the women he was with, and all that. And it got me like, damn, I started searching. I did the ancestry. I didn't do the DNA through ancestry though, but a doctor got my DNA. I could just, what am I? And it says it right there. You got.
Every time you've been in the hospital, they took 3 valves. That no one knows what that third valve.
It's free when you ask your doctor on some real shit.
Wait, what do you mean it's free?
When you ask your doctor, I want to know about my roots. What type of blood do I have, running through my veins and shit like that.
They'll tell you what.
They'll tell you everything you ask.
Doctor can't tell you what your lineage is.
No, they could tell you how much you got in you. Yes, they can. I'm not the only one that's done it.
No, I'm not saying, I didn't know that. I'm new to that fact. I didn't know that you could just go to a
you can ask your primary. You want to find out. Yeah. They're not supposed to charge you, so
So they don't have to put it in the
Yes,
system. Like
your blood work is already in the system.
right.
So what they do is, I guess they use the same system that the ancestry. You got to realize is all LabCorp.
That's crazy. That shit baffles my mind. I don't even
That's
believe
what
in
I'm
that
like.
shit.
I'm not the only one. Like, I thought I was crazy. I'm like, nah, man. I was on a couple panels where a couple people did the same thing, and they was like, you know what? We're kind of skeptical because, you know, some people went with the theory with their doctor, compared the theses with the, you know, ancestry, or that, what is it called, that 1, 2, 3, or
23andMe, yeah, with the 7 top CEOs stepped down this year and resigned.
a lot of people are doing it into that, and that's why I tell people I be in a lot of different lives, a lot of different chats. I'm like, I be all over freaking YouTube, so it's kind of like, I don't know. I just like learning. Like, you just telling me.
After you, I see you fuck with Papa Doug. I've been on Papa Doug for a long time. I watched, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's
Still
my
a
boo.
great dude.
Chill.
Yeah, I know. I be like, he's a good dude though. He be on his shit, you know, but you know,
Mhm.
you just got, you know, when you get too much, once you start getting known for it, you gotta be careful, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they'll poison, they'll not know, they'll taint your sources, you know, if they can find them, you know what I'm saying?
Bull been on point with everything.
No, he's
But
always. I still got him. I watch him. Yeah, he be on point. He got a show too. I did the podcast. Cause I be watching
I
his
be,
clips. He drops a short. Sometimes he drop a video. You know what I mean? Always pop up on my feed.
yeah, I always got support him. Like, he been on point. Like, shit. But if it wasn't for a lot of these videos on YouTube, like I told people, I'm definitely gonna make a trip to PR. I don't want to, but with the stories that my grandpa has told me, pictures that I've seen and stuff like that, right? And knowing, you know, a little bit of my dad's story, I want to learn a little more about my Taino history. And that's what they go by, like, heavy, like both my sides of the
Taino or
family. Huh?
Is it Taino or Borican?
Tainos. But you know what's crazy? They say Borican too. Some of
Yeah,
them
there
say
you go,
Borican, and that's
man. Listen to me,
confuses
man.
me.
I know the viejos, and I get confused with it now because I just started hearing them start saying
No,
that. Puerto
I
Rico always
got
call
one
them
side that
Borican.
says Taino, and I got one
Yeah,
side
but
that
the
claims
Tainos is
Borican.
more. This is what I heard. The Tainos is more like more Spaniard, if you could say. I guess they were like, I don't know. This I
No,
might be
you know what the Tainos are? When
more
I went
Spaniard.
deep into that shit, they
Speak
come
to
from
me.
the Arawaks,
There you
right?
go. The Arawak. Yes, you're right. 100%.
And Arawaks are African. They were indigenous people, right? And I guess somehow, listen, this is how the story goes, because I went deep into that rabbit hole, and I didn't come out until, like, I was like, okay, it's more similarities of this than there is this. This is, you know, I don't know if you understand where I'm going. Like, I had to sit here and put the
Nah,
little
I'm
board
listening.
up,
There's
but
a lot of shit that makes
apparently the Arawaks got with, you know, I'm not sure which tribes of the African tribes, right? They got together somehow, you know, throughout time, the Tainos came about, right? So somehow when the conquest happened with the Spaniards, you know, the voyages, all that happened, right? In PR, Santo Domingo and all that, right?
Yeah, Haiti, with the
Apparently, you
revolution
know,
in Haiti was what really started it all. You know, Haiti was the
you
first
know,
people to
they,
revolt.
you know, they were saying for a while, because I even believed it. They were saying Tainos are extinct. How can you? I'm like, how can it be extinct if my family talks about it a lot? So that's what got me heavy into going into that research too. People telling me it's not possible. I'm like, how the fuck does my family exist? You see where I'm coming from? So I'm going deep into that, John, and I'm saying it's like, oh shit. So it turns out that if it wasn't for I think we reacted to one of the videos too, right? But it turns out that what a lot of people out here in real life are saying makes that video mean a little, you know, certain things on what they say on that video factual. You see where I'm coming from? So it is true. The Moors and whatever tribes, you know, were left of the Africans when the Spaniards and the Europeans came and tried to take over and do all that shit, they helped the rest of the surviving Tainos. So we also got videos here on YouTube, people going to the island, out of the city, right? You see where I'm coming from? And they got different tribes sitting here fighting the government, claiming to be called indigenous. Is in their DNA. If it's in their DNA and at least 60 and 80% of that DNA is saying that they're Taino, you see where I'm coming from? They're African, whether you like it or not. Because somehow, some way, who, you know, the African tribes and the Moors that sat here and helped these Tainos survive, dickheads, I'm sorry to say it, we're descendants because of that. Could there be pure Tainos in the islands of the Caribbean? Yes. I mean, it's been proven, but they don't want. I mean, certain tribes don't want to give that DNA up, so that makes you like.
Bloodline's been diluted. You got to admit that. We don't even speak native tongues no more. It's so far apart. We're like
No,
7
but did you
generations.
know that our slang in Puerto Rico is our native tongue?
I mean, yes, because I can say that. Just like New Yorkers speak broken English, and we perfectly understand everything we're saying. Or just us,
Yeah,
East
but
Coast.
listen, even the word hurricane, huracán, is an Arabic word.
Right.
Nítido. And I'm over here like, wait, they told me that nítido is not a fucking word in Spanish, right? Growing up. Oh, esto está nítido. ¿Qué nítido es eso? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
A Taíno word is an Arabic word. It's still their native tongue. A lot of the words that they told us are improper in our Spanish growing up. It's not improper. We were speaking our native tongue. Now, if you put certain ones together and figure out the rest of our native tongue, we could probably figure out what the fuck we was even saying.
Yeah, that's deep.
It's crazy. That's how we don't. That's
put that together, and it's almost the etymologies of the word is telling you basically where it derives from.
exactly. And what happened was that they erased the history once again. Like we've both been saying, we're not the only ones saying that shit. So a lot of our native language is like erased. But if you really look at it, it's still surviving in other parts of the Caribbean, Santo Domingo, Cuba, Honduras, Africa, Jamaica, Haiti. They still speak that native tongue.
Yeah, but to me, like South America is a whole different kind of Spanish. Like, not no disrespect, respect to all of them, but
Oh, you're not lying. They say it too.
It changes like the whole. They're almost like, in my opinion, they're almost like a Mongolian mix. They're Asiatic almost. You know what I'm saying? Like Southeast. But
They say
yeah, it's weird with them, like Filipinos and all that.
yeah, a lot of them will tell you too, and it's because of all that happened. Like I tell people, ain't none of us pure. In reality, we all mixed breeds. Our DNA has been mixed up before our grandparents were born.
Reparations is going to be hard, right? Because at one point, I don't want to change subject, but just real quick, at one point you had the one of the richest people that owned slaves, like 100 slaves. You know what I mean? Was a black lady. You know what I mean? They have people that were black slave owners. They have black Jewish people that was in those times. So like, it's gonna be hard when you have someone who was, trying to get reparations for their family, and they were the ones that had slaves too. You know what I mean? Or they were, they mixed breeding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was tough. Like you had mammies like going in the house and all type of crazy shit. So it's gonna be tough.
We've been learning that. I mean, like I've been looking at these videos. Like some of it makes sense, throughout everything we've been hearing out here. But then a lot of it is like, okay, we have to do our own research, and especially talking here on social media, I can't just say, oh yeah, this is true. No, man. I'm like, okay, it sounds like it could be true. Now let me go do my research. Like I tell people.
You're right.
So it's like, I'm not here to sit here and convince anybody. I'm here for us to learn. And if anything, pass it forward. Like if y'all know more shit, I want y'all to say it. See, that's the problem with too much misinformation. So if you know more than what's being said on here, if you know that this is misinformation also being said, say it. Like you should know your tribe better than somebody else speaking it.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is, but it's crazy.
I mean, if you're gonna speak on it,
yeah, if you're gonna, but you gotta always remember that there's people that are gonna be like, nah, they're gonna make something that's gonna, something you didn't know that's gonna be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like they always try to, historians go into shit and they bring up stuff, you know what I mean? That they connect dots that don't even really mean, But like I said, history is his story, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, my story is a mystery, you know what I mean?
He said, my story is a mystery. No, you know your story. We know from what you can recollect.
A bar, a bar. I know you do poetry, so the bar. Shout out to your poetry too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Same thing to you.
I got something I could drop on you in a little bit when you're ready. I won't stay too long, but I'll hold you up. But I got it's a spoken word I wrote, and I do spoken word too. That's why I always listen to your shit. But I wrote a long time ago, like probably like 20 years ago. But this shit is so relevant right now. And it's probably gonna be always relevant for the rest of my life. And when you get a chance, it's not that long.
Oh no, go ahead. You more free than welcome. Listen, like I said, these are lives. Right? I don't gotta worry about any like. Listen, like when I edit the videos, I cut out the extra stuff. You see where I'm coming from? And I'm not saying I'm cutting this out. What I'm saying is like, I don't know if you get it. Like I have to like separate it, put this with that. So either way, this is gonna be edited later on. I don't know if you understand me.
No, I got you.
That's what the lives are for. Shit,
yeah,
like we gotta take advantage.
Shout out to you because I don't got the balls to do it yet, man. I want to do it so bad because I be having so much to talk, but I'm like, nah, man. Everybody be saying, you know what I mean? It's almost like nothing's new under the sun.
Oh man, you gotta speak your mind. Like I tell people over here, can't nobody censor me. I'm dead serious. Now, If they give me a copyright or a strike or something, they say, "Oh, you went okay. Listen, let me fight this real quick, and let me find a way to say what I want to say that it won't affect, me or what I'm my. How can I say it? It's not my brand, my license, my LLC.
That's important right there. Your IP.
No, not my IP, my LLC, my
Well, what I'm
license.
saying though is everything that's going. Well, you write your license to your brand, but everything you're putting on here is all your intellectual property. You get it?
Yeah,
So these things later on is what's going to be more value because people don't want to hear what the masses say. They want to hear individual opinions.
that's a fact. And sometimes it's like my baby pop says, it's not what we say, it's how we say it. We just got to find a way. If they're stopping you from saying it like this,
I wholeheartedly believe that, and I'm with that 100%. Especially me
real
being a
shit.
writer and a rhyme and all. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, bro. It's a fact because you paint pictures with your words.
Yeah, and I got to keep telling people, like, when I write, I take my time. Like, I pull the encyclopedia out and everything, make sure that what I want to say is really said.
Yeah,
Like,
you want
that's
to make sure that
crazy.
you convey your
No, I
message
do.
properly. Like, you want to make sure they get what you're saying, not just talking words and shit.
Yeah, because if you look at my rough drafts be crazy. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna put it out like that. I have to take my time and put this together. Like, I'm not just gonna put out that thought. Sometimes your thoughts be crazy. I'm like, oh no, that's you're saying something against somebody, or no, I'm not. So I'm like, let me make it a little more lyrical and a little more poetic for you, and be a little more professional. Now you can't say I'm saying something against nobody. Let me get Shakespeare with you.
Yeah, that's what comedy is. Comedy is the truth, in a warm plate. You know what I mean? Where it's not as harsh. When you hear it straight, it's cold. When a comedian
Exactly.
says it, you laugh at it. You don't realize that shit is dead truth. It's honest.
Facts. That's why I was like, they're like, yeah, no, man, that's not hard work. It's just that I really want to be professional. Can I be ratchet with my poetry? Yes, but I'm not storytelling. You see where I'm coming from? I'm not trying to be Biggie. I'm not storytelling. I keep telling people that shit. I ain't storytelling. I'm actually really telling people what I see, but I'm just putting it into poetry. And yes, you can get Shakespeare with poetry. There's different ways.
I can't give me one. I'm looking for it, but I just got this one right. It's called. I don't want to tell you the premise. I want you to see if you can figure it out. But it's a message within it, right? And I said, you can hear me, right?
I'm listening.
I said, she was my one and only ride or die, by my side, flip the vibe. I said, hold on, let me get it right. Hold on, let me fix that. She was my one and only ride or die, by my side, ready to ride anytime shit got hot. Something special I can't even explain. And through any situation, the expressions would never change. Like the heart of a lion, she's a diamond in the rough. She gave me power in these streets. She even made me feel tough. I remember late nights, we was thirsty to go and hit the strip. Dude started acting funny. She told me bring the extra clip. Black mask in the car, gloves for the tips. She said, gotta pee for the cameras and never leave prints. She told me there's a right way to do wrong. Gotta hit them and move on. If you catch them with their jewels on, fold them like a futon. I said, word. She said, yeah, it's love and hate every time we sat there and spoke. And when dudes started acting, I said, when dudes wanted problems, she was always first to smoke. Sensitive trigger, had a touch of a precaution. I only paid $400, but to me, she was worth a fortune. My first 380.
Joe, that shit deep. That was your first Bonnie and Clyde moment.
Yeah.
I be telling people, listen, I like the Bonnie and Clyde story, but not, the way people take it. Like, shit, man, we gonna live in this Bonnie and Clyde story, shit.
Yeah.
We surviving. Bonnie and Clyde was stupid at the end. There was a way to do it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
100% though. That's a fact. Like those stories, you know what I mean? Like, I've been watching that shit. Bonnie and Clyde, they both died, right? They got shot up in the car then.
Yeah, it's ride or die to the end. I'm like,
Wait,
yeah,
was
it's
there
ride
two
or
girls
die,
that
but we
jumped
gonna.
off the cliff in the car? What was that movie? Is that the same movie?
No, there's different Bonnies and Clyde. I watched a couple of them, and they all
I
deep.
think it was an old gangster, like bank robbers, and the wife and the husband got shot up.
That's what they do. Yeah, they was
Yeah.
in a They did a whole bank robbery. Every movie is the same.
Yeah.
That one part of the story don't change. They really did ride or die though. For real.
No, they did. Yeah, the sheriffs and all them niggas caught them niggas on a road, a desolate road, and laid them up. Give them something serious.
That's why, listen, man, you gotta do things better. But shit.
Yeah, nah, you're 100% right, man. Once you
People
fall
stuck.
victim to the physical, it's over. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to.
That's why I keep telling everybody, like, everybody's stuck on that, like, oh, we can't do this. I'm like, listen, that's the problem. Is us.
Yeah.
We are so on that.
Damn, my fault.
No, you good. We so on that. How can I say it? It's like all they got out of Malcolm X was by any means necessary, and they never understood what he meant by that. So it's kind of like, but y'all not even peeping. Like, we are our worst enemies. We are racist amongst ourselves. Like, it's not a day that I can't walk outside these streets and I see a black person against a black person, a Puerto Rican against a Puerto Rican, or a black person against a Puerto Rican against a black person on some real shit. And they say the white man's supposed to be racist, but when them bullets fly in the air like the 4th of July, it be our kids that be getting shot. It be our grannies that be getting shot. It be our uncles and aunties that be getting shot. And who are they? You know, same blood that flows through our...
Same people
Exactly.
of color. Fact.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, like, they
For
saying the
sure.
white man only
You always
racist.
active.
Well,
You've been like that. That's what's up, man. You always out there for the kids. I've seen town hall meetings and all that. I've seen it.
because that shit's getting me tired. Like, you know how, like, it hurts me that this is my community, but my kids are telling me I want to leave. I was like, damn, you can never experience what I experienced in this community, because it changed.
Yeah, that's facts though.
And that was unity. Like, at one point, like I keep telling everybody, I know that HP is a Hispanic and black community. You say, how can I say Philadelphia? And it's really mixed up because you got different communities. You got the Asians, the Japanese, then you got the Mexican side, you got the black side, right? But then it so happens that we got a couple communities, right? Amongst those communities, like the one I'm living in right now, that we're mixed up. It's Mexicans, Cubans, Dominicans, blacks, Puerto Ricans. You see where I'm coming from? And in this community, we didn't grow up with racism. So as I was a child, I didn't experience none of this shit I'm experiencing now.
Shit. I was gonna tell you earlier too, like we're in the middle, like we were saying, they change history, they rewrite it. We're in the middle of a paradigm shift so big right now, we don't even realize it. We're there. Everything we grew up learning was wrong is being justified and almost like being allowed to be right in a way now. They're making everything that it's like a topsy-turvy thing, It's like we're almost feeling irrelevant now, or we feeling like it doesn't make sense to us. When these kids just adapt to it because it's different for them, They're trending, they're going with they're addicted to sensation and they're desensitized. We still have we still have a little bit of sensitivity, and it's like, nah, hold on, that wasn't right 10 years ago. You feel me? These kids don't know right from wrong. It's hard to differentiate. You know what I mean? I said real quick, dog. Go ahead.
Let me tell you how just the other day, right? And people keep telling me, I get a lot of people to get mad at me when I say, oh, it's us to blame, right? They like, oh, but you don't blame the kids for what's happening in society with internet and, in these streets. I said, oh, I'll give them some blame after they turn a certain age. But let me tell you something, right? It's crazy how just the other day, right? A family just confronted, like, I think it was a grandpa confronting his daughter, right? Because of the social media shit, right? The daughter kept telling he don't know that I be on TikTok and I be on Instagram. My son don't know nothing. Eso piensa tú. It was a whole argument. This was a Puerto Rican family, right? And I'm sitting here listening, and it got deep. So the grandfather started snapping. He's like, eso piensa tú. Tú no sabes que tu hijo te vio los otros días moviendo el culo. I was cracking the fuck out. He's like, canto fresca, cochina. Like, he really came at her. Like, he called her a puta and everything. I'm sitting here, I was like, damn. Like, that was a whole soap opera. So yeah, it drew my attention. I'm sitting here like, that's crazy, because the mom thinking the son's not watching what she's doing, but she's coming at him for the shit he doing on social media. Lady, he got it from you. You're doing it, so he thinks it's okay. So you can't tell him shit now.
That's real shit.
Like, come on, you shaking your ass on social media, but he's out here, showing the motherfucker a stupid thing because it seemed like he ain't got no guidings. What he's doing in these corners.
Right.
One is more fucked up than the other, but mom's online doing all this dumb shit. Why can't I go online to, come on, lady, let's make it make sense. And I'm not saying, all ladies are like that, but we got to be cautious of what we do on social media. We think that these kids ain't watching. Social media is their go-to every single day.
It's part of their life now. It's almost like the new neural link without even knowing. It's so attached to your neural that when you don't get a like by someone, when you don't get a like, they get emotionally impulsed, and that's how you know that it's working. Whatever they got going on for transhumanism, man and machine, or man, woman and man and machine, they're already right. Their steps close where their brain is activated. Elon Musk had the neural link put into a kid who was a quadriplegic not too long ago, and the kid now plays Call of Duty and he's able to shoot with his eyes.
You talking about a game?
Yeah, dude. No, I'm talking about real
shit.
life. I'm talking about real life. Elon Musk is creating a neural link, right, to attach to people's brains. And the kid was a quadriplegic. He was the first one to try it, right? It's like, and it had a little bit of problems. His body was fighting it out because it was a foreign object and it wasn't used to it. And then he can shoot with his eyes now in the game. He's like the number one shooter. Yeah,
That's kind of
what they
cool,
do.
but
Look at
scary.
Stephen Hawkins. It's scary. It's scary. Stephen Hawkins was able to talk. He was able to think, and the computer was saying what he was thinking.
Oh, I know that. I remember that. That's
But
old, but it kind of shows you.
yes, that's what I mean. The Jetsons was old, but that just shows you. You know what I mean? Inspector Gadget had tablets. That was old, but it shows you. You know what I mean?
Listen, you know that I thought my grandpa was tripping, and I say it a lot now. People ask me how I get that phrase. Listen, I feel as though right now we are living the Jetsons and the Flintstones at the same time. I thought he was crazy with his stories. He's like, ustedes están locos, se creen que, what was it? Ustedes están bien locos sin saber, viendo esos jodidas caricaturas, no están viendo que estamos viviendo en esa, lo que están haciendo en esa. He used to say it in a way, and I can't repeat it, but basically he used to say that what we watching in these TVs and these shows is what we're living right now or what's going to happen in the future, right? And he used to go so deep into it, so I can't really translate, but can I understand? Yes.
So let me just piggyback off what you said. So in my theory, right, and you're 100% right, I feel like we're in the Jetsons right now. And the next war that we have so much powerful weapons and all that haven't been used in so many years that they're dying to use, that will end up turning back to the Flintstones, right?
No.
We already have tablets and modernized futuristic shit that we don't, you know what I mean? Like the Jetsons type shit, right?
But let me ask you a question. You never noticed the Flintstones have it too?
Right, but it was primitive. But what I'm saying though is just being back in the state. They say basically after World War III, the next war we fight is going to be with sticks and stones again and rocks. You know what I mean? Because we're going to blow ourselves up to the point of rubble, basically. You know what I mean? It's not going to be no computers. And like I said, the grid goes down, the computers don't matter no more. AI ain't going to work. You know what I mean?
But if you think about it, also think about the crossover they did with the Jetsons and the Flintstones.
No, you're right though.
Because it kind of like either they went through a portal and traveled back in time, you see, or they time traveled somehow, like the Flash, you see, because that crossover was kind of crazy. And I'm older now. I'm not a little kid looking at it as entertainment.
Well, it's predictive programming, so they always put it in your face. It's called like hidden in plain sight. You know, Disney movies do it a lot, where they have subliminals in there and stuff like that. And only stuff resonates with certain people who are looking, I guess, who are kind of on that frequency. Because everything is vibrating, everything. But I said, real quick, this one's called, I wrote the Divine Knowledge, right? It says, so many lost minds engaged in a spiritual battle, physically weak and mentally blinded, needing a third eye to perceive this reality. A realm of false prophets and spirits are channeled, where satanic rituals and sacrifices are pledged to a darker energy. Radio waves and flashing lights can alter and program your instinctive train of thought, subconsciously planting seeds of chaos in one's mental garden. As disinformation and lies are saturated in the truth, that will be providing the water for these seeds of confusion to root. The design to leave one's spiritual equilibrium unbalanced is a way to promote, subject, and capitalize with any hidden agenda. Compromised by conspiracies structured to deflect. Compromised by conspiracies structured to deflect or manipulate one's sole purpose. For right and wrong are only one's preference in the eye of the beholder. For it all comes down to controlling one's understanding of consciousness and imagination. The ability to manifest your thoughts, to visualize and relate to nature, to acknowledge the divine connection to all matter. See, in my opinion, all religions are different branches of the same tree. Institutions organized to limit or confine one's boundaries of knowledge and enlightenment. For if they say it's a sin to investigate or research other beliefs to grasp a better perspective of your faith, then there's a problem within. You must understand, to know God, you must know the devil, for Lucifer was the Lord's day one right-hand man. It takes a certain level of awareness to see green snakes slither in green grass. Don't let that go over your head. P.S. It was in my head before I wrote it.
That's deep. I like that. Yo, y'all gotta go check out Frankie Blanco. I think his link is down below. Like I told y'all.
You always around, so I don't, you know what I mean? As long as you did, and because I said you got great work too, man. You got shit that, like heartfelt shit, like you, and you.
I mean, if
pain,
I knew,
you got pain in your shit, pain.
If I knew how to deal with that, like make beats and stuff like that, I would really get into it. But I don't know how to do none of that.
You do. You just don't. You don't. Your mind is so wrapped up in so much other things that you don't.
Yeah,
find the space.
My focus ain't on that.
Right. You can start it, and you'll get irritated.
I'm about to kidnap your ass. Like shit, you need to make something up, and I'm about to feature your ass in it, and then you hook that shit up.
I got some good ones, man. I got a couple. If you don't mind me, one more. I got.
Because you know that I mean, like I tell people, I can get in my bag, but I gotta listen to a beat, and I stopped doing it a lot, the lyrical poems, because I was getting striked.
Nah, you gotta go. Listen, your heartbeat is pumping at the same.
No, it's the beats.
You know? Yeah. Well, your heart is gonna give you that rhythm naturally. You got it in you. It's like dancing salsa, you know.
Yeah, I got poems and I could do poetry. See, I get inspired by either what I see outside or something, you know, I see somebody go through something I've been through. I don't know if you get it, like, but like I just write my thoughts down and stuff like that. Then I go, like I've done it a couple times. I listen to a beat and then I, you know, transform it into something else because it's basically just thoughts and some real shit. Like
But it's
I
not
tell
regular
people,
thoughts. You don't understand. Your thoughts. Everybody makes burgers. It's your seasoning to the burger that makes it stand out, bro. It's your salsa, your sazon. I'm telling you, that's
yeah,
what
I've been
people
doing
want
this
to
since
know.
I
You
was
know,
I've been doing
right?
this shit as a kid, like, but I never even thought about it turning into music until the last couple of years that I've tried it out because people are like, yo, you should do it, you should do it. I was like, you know what? I ain't a rapper, none of that, but
So much
you know,
people
I've
that
done
can
it.
write. Yeah, right. There's people
But
that
I
can
don't like
write,
my voice. I'm like,
but they
somebody got
can't
to clean this
sing.
shit up and
Some
hook
people
it
can
up.
write genius bars, but they can't sing it. You know, and some people can't sing, but they, you know, like, they could sing perfect, but they can't write. They're great readers. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I said, listen,
Look
this
at
is more modern. Okay, good.
look at JoJo Siwa. JoJo
Yeah,
Siwa can't
bunch,
really sing. They had
bunch.
to edit her voice while she was singing. I keep telling people that shit. And it got proven. She got exposed, even though it was fucked up the way they did it. But I've been said I was like, it's something off. Like the way she talks doesn't match with her voice. Like, but then that shit got exposed.
They said that, you know, I heard this from, I think it was Diddy or somebody, no friend, but he said, we don't look for talent, we look for the talentless because they can be molded, right? You see, when you got something that no one could take from you, that's what the industry don't want. You know what I mean? Where you're
Facts.
gonna shine, you'll be illuminated regardless if you're with them or not. You know what I mean? That's what bothers. So they want someone they control. Tell you now, don't wear those kind of jeans. Wear the bell bottoms with the shiny glitter on it. You know what I mean? They want that. But I said this is this is old shit. But I said, yo, Bush, Obama, Clinton got this country looking lost. Politicians on the mission trying to propagate our cause. It's lack of education. Red and blue is separation. We've been divided as a whole, never united as a nation. Snakes and corporations corrupt cops. All I said snakes and corporations corrupt cops after me. The thoughts I conspire in my mind is straight catastrophe. Global genocide, even the fucking food is bad for me. They manufactured God's gift and made it a tragedy. Aborted babies on the black market. Damn, that's a travesty. I try to eliminate. I fucked up. Right? I said eliminate the problem. I said eliminate the root. Treat my problem like a cavity. But yeah, I said that one right there was more mine. I don't want to fuck it up. But yeah, you know, I got some joints, man. You want to
Man, I
drop
be
them?
doing the same thing. Shit. You listen, that's why I edit my poetry before I upload the videos. But
And
when
I
I go
usually
live,
land
I
that shit
stutter
though.
too.
I land that. I said, take this journey, don't know my purpose. I'm soul searching. Life is short. Play it out till it's closed curtains. See for them jewels, sometimes you gotta dig deep. A conscious mind lives long after 6 feet. I write my name in the stars when it's all over. The Lord's soldier, the light when the war's cold. I said when the war's over. Late nights, I reminisce. I used to hustle hard. I gambled my life. I rolled dice and I shuffled cards. One eye open like the back of that dollar. Snakes in the grass, rats and piranhas, black mass for the karmas. Part of my speech, but sometimes it's hard for me to teach. Knowing the streets is trying to keep God on my reach. Knowledge of self. See, I'm a divine individual. Heart of an angel, but the mind of a criminal. Wisdom is what decodes between lines and subliminals. Understanding is what defines emotions with visuals. One man army, art of war, Sun Tzu. 48 laws of power, righteous and humble. Third eye open, but I'm conscious in this jungle. Snakes and chameleons trying to slide up in your circle.
That's some real shit though. Like, see, you got some talent too though. Like,
I
yeah.
didn't hear you, sorry.
I said you got some talent too. Shit, you gotta put that shit out
I've
there.
been told that once or twice here and there. Not joking.
Like my ass, I just published my first poetry book. I'm about to do on the second one and do better than the first
I wish
one.
I had some, you know, man, in lifetime and moving around here, I lost so much work, like poetry rhymes. I have like a folder book and then I just leave that shit. Like, man, trust me, I've given away just ideas. Sometimes you gotta just write down what you're thinking because you'd be surprised that in life we get the answer before we get the questions. And sometimes
Facts.
we just sit there stumbling all this time and I realize the key was in front of your face. You know what I mean? And that's
Cause that's
just
how
how
we
it is.
do it.
We get caught up in all. I said, here's some food for thought. You got to have a hunger for knowledge, a nomad in your own mind, digging deep for jewels on earth. These gems never lose their worth. Wisdom is priceless, the value more than any gold mine. You see the differences in church? They pray on the weak. I said they pray for the weak. But on these streets, these predators, they only prey on the weak. Some still don't know the true definition of life. One's purpose for turning his wrongs into rights. Raising a better you, never forgetting the long December nights. Trials and tribulations designed to build one's character. Some chose to be drivers, some choose to be passengers.
My bad.
No, you Gucci.
He be having bars. I be telling people. Let me see.
Appreciate that.
Mine's are a little. See, he been more in them streets, like I tell people. So his a little more deeper. Mine's more family wise, more political and stuff like that.
You politically correct with your shit. My shit's all. I'm over here again. I'm about to get shot up.
That's why I'm like that. John be deep, like. It's like on this one. See, I put, in your eyes I found solace. All my worries vanished without a trace. Your gaze was my safe place. Fear melted away in your embrace. No more darkness, just pure light in your eyes. Everything felt right. I knew I could conquer any fight with you by my side. Everything felt so bright. When I looked into your eyes, fear disappeared. A sense of calm and peace appeared in that moment. All doubt cleared. With you near, there's nothing to be feared. See, mine's is more. You can tell the difference between a man and a woman, yo.
No, it's good. It's easy, man. It's so easy for you and it flows. And that's like, it's like turning the sink on. I'm turning that smooth, man. Smooth. It's very smooth.
Yeah, like, look, see, this one was somebody that got betrayed.
What was the name of that one?
Huh?
What was the name of that one?
Oh, snap. Damn.
Because the title, it means everything. You basically capturing an emotion, and it's timeless now. It's in a capsule,
Oh, that one. When I looked into your eyes.
Nice.
See, and this one's called Out of All the Hands, right? And it says, in a world full of spite, you chose me to fight. Out of all the hands that hated you, it's my hand you bite. Through the darkness and light, our bond burning. Chose me to fight.
Bring it back real quick. Sorry. I like it already.
I'll start from the beginning.
Yeah, please.
In a world full of spite, you chose me to fight. Out of all the hands that hated you, it's my hand you bite. Through the darkness and light, our bond burning bright. In a world of spite, you chose me to fight. When the storm clouds gather and the thunder strikes, out of all those that hated you, it's my hand you bite. I'll stand by your side. Together we ignite. When the storm clouds gather and the thunder strikes, no matter what they say or do, we'll stand tall and true. Out of all those that hated you, it's my hand you bite. Our connection unbreakable like morning dew. No matter what they say or do, we'll stand tall and true.
Yeesh. That's a hit. I like that one.
This is from
oh my God.
Listening to them old heads, yo. I be telling people I believe in a love story like Celia and Pedro. Shit.
Like, you know what I mean? It's subtle, but it's you know what I mean? It's letting you know.
Yeah, like them old heads, like they really went through. And I'm telling you, none of us nowadays could sit here and handle a relationship like old heads did.
I'm gonna give you one right now. You probably heard this. I did a video to my mother, right? Now I'm gonna just start off the poetry part. So yo, this is my life in words. That's what the name is. It says, "Listen to me. I never had it easy." I said, "Hold on. Listen to me. I can never say I had it easy. No father. 5 of us, 1 bedroom and a 20-inch TV. Roaches in the cabinet, spoiled milk, thick and cheesy. Dishes all in a stink, and the stove was a little greasy. My mom Dukes was a soldier though, 3 jobs under the books. She had to be smart. She didn't want them food stamps took. Late nights, I could hear crying in her room. Was it because my father denied me since the womb, or because the lights was cut relying on candles to light the room? Shit made me a man quick. I grew a backbone, had to hold my own. Soldiers always stand stiff. She told me, a man with plans is better than a man who don't plan shit. I said, fuck it. So I started reaching for the answers every chance my hands get. No options left. It was either sink or swim. So hard trying to be righteous, surrounded by snakes filled with deceit and sin. Father, how can I live Father, how can I fulfill my destiny with this pain that I keep within? Knowing that there's a day where me and my moms will never speak again.
Oh, that John's deep. Broken homes. That John deep.
Memory lane, reminisce. When we were all young, eyes closed and all bliss. We ran around happy, filled with imagination. No internet, iPhones, or PlayStations. Best friends became family if they kept it real. Hold on, man. My fault. I was eating some pistachios. My wife gave me some pistachios. That shit is not a good thing to do when you're spitting rhymes over, poetry. Take a trip, memory lane, reminisce. When we were all young, eyes closed and all bliss. Ran around, happy, full with imagination. No internet, iPhones, or PlayStations. Best friends became family if they kept it real. And being broke together made us all respect the meal. Streets was a bad bitch with a whole lot of sex appeal. I learned how to make lemonade. She gave me lemon pills. Chinese ham, more skelsies. We got busy. Hot peas and butter, manhunt. We were straight silly. Wild, young, never really had luck. Basketball, baseball in the streets, two-hand touch. See, I had a wicked jump shot before I started to pump rocks. A mean crossover before I crossed over. Fuck it, streets got the best of me. All I could say is one night changed my destiny. I went from cutting science to mastering street chemistry.
That shit. Yo, he be deep.
Thank you so much, yo. And just you saying that right now makes me feel, like that's what you want. You don't care about going platinum or getting gold. It's just the appreciation from someone else who appreciates the same kind of art, and has the same kind of talent, and the hobbies. I guess you want to use the right word. You know what I mean?
Because I like that. I mean, I like when it's deep. See, I can't really relate to the streets like that. Like, yeah, I can say, I be associated with people from the streets.
Yeah.
But like I tell people, I've never been in the street. So when I hear somebody talk about stuff like that and the broken homes at the same time, yeah, I mean, shit, why wouldn't I give you your shit? Listen,
my last one with God. This is about God, right? I'm gonna just stop after that.
I'm listening.
Because you got me in my zone right now, so nigga hype.
Shit, that's what we do over here. Listen, we've done panels of poetry. Like, I know you've missed a lot,
I used to go on Nate the Great and do it. I was like, me and Nate was only a couple people came up, but me and Nate used to do it. I used to join Nate a lot on Thursdays.
Facts.
I said, let me take this time and show you some appreciation. Without God, I would have never seen creation. I give thanks because I know he knew what I was facing. But to give me a chance, damn, how can I replace it? See, this is for the Most High. A couple questions. 1, why am I here? 2, where am I destined? How can perfection create so much imperfection? Wolves in sheep clothing, predators in all directions. 85% dumb, deaf, and blind. Charged like alkaline. Third eye gotta be calcified because they out their mind. Poor and king, yeah, God knows I go out for mine. And I'm comfortable in my habitat. Something like a mountain lion. I said, hold on. I gotta finish this muffle. I said, to bring a soul in his poverty / sodomy, never make it past go, evil ideology. Always showed me right, taught me that my heart is true. And if I'm in a tough decision, just do what God would do. Everybody falls, it's all about getting up. There's so many blessings in the lessons, I hope you're getting them. See, you lost in the mixture, mentally blinded, divorced from the scriptures, faking selfies, flossing in pictures. Lord, please come take the wheel. I need a second to breathe because this shit getting real. I said,
I like that.
Eyes wide open, blind can't lead the blind. Wolves in sheep's clothing, in lifetime you seek and find. Probably design. My mind ain't even mine. So thought-provoking every time I read my lines. Fight or flight. Out of sight. When niggas is wrong, they wrong, but if you right, you're right. And I know when they listen to these poems, I know they like what I write. The way I articulate my life and give advice for no price. I'm on another atmosphere. Sound like a battle spear. Fuck a whole nigga up. I was freestyling that last part. I fucked up. I forgot it.
Yeah, he killed that one though. I'm not gonna say being lying.
I do it with passion. Like I'm talking about literature and writing and being able to articulate yourself with the words. I have to enhance my vocabulary by like 1 million. So a lot of people I'm in my, and not to say I'm smart nigga, because I don't ever want to be the smartest nigga in the room because I'm in the wrong room. I can't learn nothing, you know what I mean?
Facts.
But I just love learning etymology and understanding the words because those are spirits, you know what I mean? And with the right words that you put together and you construct them yourself, you're a magician. You can make somebody feel happy.
That's some facts.
That's a gift that you have that you don't need no pill or no fucking medicine or doctor to prescribe to you. You know what I mean?
That's some real shit. But listen, right? I mean, that's true. Because listen, like I told you, I get mines. I mean, a lot of it comes from my past, right? But you would have to be able to decode that. You see, coming in my poetry, like you would have to know my story to understand which poetry relates to me. But the majority of my poetry is from stories I've heard, things I've seen. Like, let's see, I got this one right here. Like, I know you could know somebody that could relate to something like this, right? Pain tattooed on my skin. From an angel pure and innocent to a woman fighting temptation, to a warrior fighting sin, my pain is written and the scars tattooed on my skin. Each mark tells a story of struggle, of battles fought and demons faced. But I wear them proudly like badges of honor, a reminder that I survived, that I'm still standing. Through the darkness and tears, I found strength in my pain. For every scar is a testament to my resilience, a symbol of the fire that burns within me.
Damn, nigga, that should be. You see, you like fucking. You like you can. You ever seen? I don't know if you've seen it. Hold on one second. I got something at the door real quick. Give me 1 second. That's deep. Though. I like that.
Got you. All right. While he comes back, I'm gonna read this one. Right. This one's called A Small Fee. In a world where everything. Shit. I'm in the dark trying to read this shit.
Now. I like that one. Don't bite the hand that feed you. And the other one. What's this one called?
Yeah. This one that I just did.
Yeah.
Pain tattooed on my skin.
Oh, paint. Oh, okay.
Then I got this one.
You said pain tattooed on my skin?
Yeah, pain. Like, when you cut somebody, the pain they get.
Fire.
So I got this one called A Small Fee. In a world where everything costs a fee, your friendship is priceless, can't you see? They say the best things in life are free, but your companionship comes with a small fee. Through ups and downs, you're always there, a true friend beyond compare. They say the best things in life are free, but your loyalty comes with a small fee. In times of joy or when we're feeling low, you're the one I turn to. This I know. They say the best things in life are free, but your support comes with a small fee.
It's Joe. Those are the ones that hit the most. And they like short, straight to the point, direct. No hesitation. They didn't no pump faking here, boy.
Listen, I'll be listening to stories, and I don't know if sometimes the stories on YouTube be real or not, but when they go deep into these stories, shit, I'd be like, damn, it be deep. Like, look at this one. 2 different worlds. My pride is asking me to leave, but my heart is begging me to stay. Caught in a battle of wills, I don't know which path to take. The ego screams for independence, while love whispers of connection. Torn between 2 different worlds, I'm lost in this contradiction. Should I follow what's expected or listen to my inner voice? My pride pulls me one way, but my heart remains the choice.
Wow. That's deep in so many ways, yo. Just the fact that your eyes are extension of your brain and your tongue is extension to your heart. That's deep.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into this since I was a little girl. I used to write heavy when I was little, but I had stopped for a little bit.
Those are good.
Yeah.
You got that like that. People could go like you should just do that, a compilation of all your joints because you have the set like monotone voice, and just play a light, like a light, not even a song or beat. Just have something that be like when you do those little apps and they could be like epic or urgent or scary or mystery or mystic. Like just have one of those kind of like little ensembles in the background. You don't even need a beat. I promise you that shit is so because you have the perfect tone for it. So it's almost like it's soothing. I don't know how to say it. It's like relaxing. It's not like you being like yo fuck nah. You're speaking just straight. Like,
yeah, listen.
I'm listening.
This one has to do with our community, right? Bullets have no name. So many bullets flying, no names to be found. Hatred fills the air, love nowhere around. Innocent lives taken, hearts left torn. When will we realize it's love that must be born? Too much anger brewing and no end in sight. Violence spreading like a wildflower at night. Words filled with venom, action fueled by hate. It's time to break the cycle before it's too late. Let kindness be our weapon, compassion over shield. Together we can heal, together we can yield. So let's stand united against the darkness that looms, for in the end, it's love that conquers all dooms.
Fire.
I mean, this is what I'm good at. But, stuff like this, when it's too positive, people don't pay attention to it. But I do already got my poetry already in shorts. I got to re-upload them on my other channel.
Yeah, not good. And the thing about it is you already got a template. You can always go back and add new things that you find out or new feelings, emotions to it. You know what I mean? You got something to build station.
Oh, they good. I got views on them, each and every one of them Jones on this panel, but I was trying to like divide it a little bit. It's like, all right, those are just uploads. It's not like I'm doing lives. So just keep everything like you have it over here. Just put your shorts on one channel. You see where I'm coming from? And just make a little premiere channel and just upload the lives over there.
Man, no, you're right. Well, you know, it's the sector that we're in. Like this area is kind of like you got your own thing going on. You're not even. I don't see you around shit. I don't know. So, but this area, man, once you stuck in this area, this is like the back doors of YouTube. Like this shit is all the thoughts and the fucking broke hustlers.
He said the thoughts.
You know what I mean? The pregnant, everything. Like, it should be crazy over here, man. It's too much.
Listen, remember when the whole All Lives Matter shit was happening, right? There's like, oh, it's Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. I was like, listen, man, I came up with this, Joan. In a world full of hate, this one's called All Lives Matter, by the way. In a world full of hate and pain, different colors yet all the same. White lives matter, black lives too. But can any life matter if we continue to fuel violence, tearing us apart, hatred poisoning every heart? All lives matter. That's the plea. But how can we truly be free? Brothers and sisters, hear my cry. Let's put down our weapons. Give love a try. United we stand, divided we fall. It's time to embrace and break down these walls.
That's fire. See, man, you could. I'm telling you, like I hear sound effects when you're doing it. Like I'm like that. I make my own little videos to my shit sometimes, just to not. But I hear it. I tell you can go crazy on it, man. All you gotta do is get like an InShot or something like that, CapCut, and I'm telling you, man, put the visuals to what you're saying. Just find them on Google for free. You know, the gifs and all that. And just I promise you, that shit is deep. I promise you, people will catch it. You know, because sometimes people, they need the optics. You know what I mean? And just hearing somebody's cool, but they might be doing something like frying chicken while you talk, and they don't hear everything. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
He said frying chicken.
But you cook, I'm telling you, shit. Official. I promise you that. Always been though. I knew that already because that's what made me come up and say, "Nah, I got to get my shit up one day. I'm gonna go up there and spit with her." Yeah. Man, like I said, man, we got the same kind of we into the same thing, so we can relate on that, and it's kind of good because we could judge her like, nah, that nigga he was in his bag on that, or she was, looking for the right word for that one. But sometimes, like you said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. If you choose the right word, it still means everything else, you know what I mean? But it's just it fits perfect, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact. But it's like shit. I could also, let me see if I can find a little John. Hold on real quick. Because I've done, like I said it before, I've put some of these Jones, I've put them together, right?
Yeah, I got that. It's like it's like the scattered notes everywhere and you started and then finished. I got a bunch of shit like that, like.
Yeah, I put it behind some beats, but some of them do get, but when it's the lives, I can always edit this shit out. Like I tell people, I ain't gonna stop that shit.
Are you allowed to play something if I put it in the back screen?
I ain't monetized.
Yeah,
that's why I said I ain't worried about that. I ain't monetized.
That joint that I did for my mom's, and you probably heard it many times because you be with us. But hold on, let me get it right here. So this is from my heart. I just put it in the back if you could look. But yeah, this one is real. People think my mom passed away because it's so touching.
Oh shit, it's a deep song.
Nah, what that's that's it's like poetry, spoken word. I just spit it, but I put a beat to it. I didn't even put a beat. This is what I was telling you to do with your shit. I just put like a 3-string thing to it and put some sound effects, and it sounds. It's amazing, like I said, and it's nostalgic. It's not like I went to a studio and I did that shit myself with my phone.
Oh snap! All right, see this one. I made this one for for survivors. I'm about to play yours. I gotta pull it up real quick. Yeah, but I've put a lot of these Jones in beats. Like I've tried it. I've played around. I've had some fun on some real shit. But I'm not a rapper. Like if I put my lyrics behind a beat or something, somebody still has to clean it up and hook it up.
That's why I'm telling you, like you don't really. I know you want the beat,
but you're gonna see it for yourself, though.
Yeah, you're right.
In the shadow of my dreams, I was confined a prisoner of my own mind, hoping to find escape from the horrors that kept haunting me. Chained to a bed, just imagine a nightmare with Freddy. Every night his claws would scrape against my fears. A twisted dance, waking, dripping in cold sweat and tears. But deep within, a flicker of strength found its way. I vowed to break free from this endless fray. Growing up, it felt like I was imprisoned. Shackled to a bed and life filled with derision. But now I rise, armored against my own fright. No longer bound, I'm ready to face the fight. Through the darkness, I found the light of resilience, unlocking the power to break these chains of existence. No longer confined to the grip of my past. I'll sculpt a new reality that will forever last. I face the demons that once held me down. Now they tremble as I wear my battle crown. With every step I take on this path of liberation, I reclaim my power and rewrite this narration. Growing up, it felt like I was in prison. Shackled to a bed, and life filled with derision. But now I rise, armored against my own fright. Freddie may have haunted my nights before, but now I'm stronger than ever, knocking on his door. I'll stand tall and break these nightmares apart. No longer confined, I'll conquer my fears with heart. Growing up, it felt like I was in prison. Shackled to a bed, and life filled with derision. But now I rise, armored against my own fright. No longer bound, I'm ready to face the fight.
My little ass can't rap. But as you can see, like I've tried to play around with
No,
these.
that part where you
songs.
say "shackled to the bed," like Nightmare with Freddy. Is that the hook part? Like, were you trying to make that the hook? That listen, the only
Yeah,
thing,
that was the little hook part.
That's perfect. Listen, all you got to do is slow it down and catch the kicks or the snares. Just go off of one of those. Start your
I be
sentence at the
trying to.
kick. You're good. Listen, everything's rhyming, everything's on point. You just got to catch the rhythm. That's it. I
It's-
promise you.
Yeah,
And
that's why I said I made that for survivors.
rush
It's like this one over here too. This one's more like for survivors. It's like either way, whether you like it or not, I'm a survivor and warrior. So I make things for people that can
Before you
relate.
play it, this is what I mean. Your the words that you're putting together there, that magic alone is way more important than any beat you're putting onto it. You get it? And with the
Yeah.
beat, some people that are not into that kind of stuff, you're gonna deter them away from what you're trying to say. You know, they more worried
Facts.
about the messenger than the message. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And that's what I mean. Like you got something that's just it's a gift. It's that's something special. Not everybody can do that. Nobody can just put their feelings in words and make people feel that pain through what they're writing or saying. You know what I mean?
That's facts. The crazy is I'm not a freestyler, right? And when I do something like that and I'm writing, it has to be a beat behind it to make me go with the. I don't know how. That's how I came up with that one like that. That's why I'm like I don't got time to do that. Shit takes a long time. I did it one day. It took me a couple of days to put that drawing together. I was like,
Let me tell you something. You see something time. Time flies when you're having fun. You wouldn't even think about time when you're doing something. Like once you're in the zone, time don't matter no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe when my last child becomes a little older, I could believe you on that one.
You're right. So God bless you. And I see your son come back. God bless him. I'm glad.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
I know. Spoiled me. I misspoke.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I get it, but it's
Look,
not
I
that
remember
easy.
years ago you told me the story about everything. I remember sitting there, I've been like 4 years, 3 years probably watching this show. In and out. I've been in
Damn.
the chat. Yeah, man. Before
I didn't
Young
even
Weez
know
was
that.
around, all that word to my mother. We spoke
Oh,
before, man. Time like one like in Kenny's show and all that. I mean, we talked.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
we played the next one he's gonna play. I don't want to cut you off. You gotta get off too. Don't make me hold you up, man. I'm on my zone. It's Friday night, so
Oh, I
it's
got.
something else like yeah.
All right, bet I'm gonna play this one so you can see the difference. Like I be trying it though.
I remember the first time I made my mama a promise. I was so young, fucked up in the head, had to toughen up. Even though that was a promise I knew I could never keep.
That was a freestyle too.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Mama, I try to reach. Why you try to preach? You knew he was nothing but a leaf. He was just like Adam. But instead of the apple, he grabbed the fruit of your leaves, and to him they tasted like peaches. That's when I knew that promises were meant to be broken. If they don't come from the heart. Damn, that's fucked up, mama. You put your child in the middle of your promise. You put your whole world on your child's shoulder. Not once thinking that in the future she'll have her own burdens. She screamed, mama, please, while she begged on her knees. Let my protector come back into my life with her wrist sliced in the air. God, please. As time passed by, she learned what a curse and a blessing was, and now she is blessed to be.
That was the intro of something I was coming up with, and I never finished it.
Adam, I heard a bar in there. You said Fruit of the Loom, Adam, or something. You said a crazy bar. What was that bar? Do you remember it? When you
Yeah.
said something about the fruit of the tree, Adam, Fruit of the Loom or something, Adam. It was just something I couldn't get.
Yeah, he was like Adam. He tasted, the peaches, and to him it was like the fruit of the looms.
Yes, that was a bar. Nice.
Because it's like, I gotta be. Because listen, if I really put my thoughts out there, the rough draft, I think it wouldn't even be approved on the radio. So it's like I tell people,
right, where you could do that and it'll put you on a beat with your voice and everything. Like there's apps you can do that now.
yeah, but I want everything to be
But you're
original.
original,
If
you're original.
anything,
You be like,
if
I'm
anything,
not
it'll be
knocking
cleaned
it.
up. Because I know people could do that, make my voice sound a little better and stuff like that. But I know they could not auto tune it, but clean it up so it could match the beat and sound a little better.
They just put
So
it on
it's not-
latency. It's not hard. They just stretch it out a little bit.
I've tried doing that, John, But I can't do that shit, man. Listen, I ain't got time for that.
You got it, man. You rock, But yeah, I don't want to hold you up, man. Enjoy the conversation. You already know, salute.
I appreciate you come up here. Like like I said, you giving different, perspective, a different point of view.
Opinion based. I'm just saying what I feel, shooting my shit. I could be wrong.
And that's why I open these panels for y'all to come up here, because sometimes we don't know something, and there's so much misinformation out there that you could be adding something to what I'm saying, or actually correcting me on something that I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, I ain't perfect. Like I tell people, yes, I'm a bookworm, but at the end of the day, I make mistakes too. Like I take some things overboard and let my head carry itself sometimes.
You play that one though before I leave, so you could give me a opinion.
Oh shit, yes. That's
so
how like
what I
wait.
meant by you don't need the whole beat. You just need like a couple strings or piano.
Listen to me. Never had it easy. It's 5 of us, 1 bedroom and a 20-inch TV.
Oh, you deal with it, okay.
Cabinets, spoiled milk and mold cheese. Dishes all in the sink and the stove is a little greasy. Mom Dukes was a soldier though, 3 jobs under the books. Had to be smart, she didn't want them food stamps took. Said late nights, could hear crying in her room. Was it cause my father denied me since the womb? Cause the lights was cut and relying on candles to light the rooms. Shit made me a man quick, had to grow a backbone, soldiers always staying stiff. She told me a man with plans is better than a man who don't plan shit. So I started reaching for the answers every chance my hands get. No options left, it's either sink or swim. Trying to be righteous surrounded by snakes filled with deceit and sin. How can I fulfill this destiny with this pain I keep within? Knowing that there's a day when me and my moms will never speak again.
I like this.
Hey, Mom. Just want to leave this message. I know you can't hear me, but just want to let you know. Without you,
I like this.
I'm proud, grateful, humble. You show me the way. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mom. Just for you. Just for you. Just for you. Yes. Mom, I made this song up just for you. Mom, I give this all up just for you. Turn away and walk away, Mom, just for you. Folding hands and bending knees, I pray just for you. Take a look in my eyes, I'ma wish come true. My only purpose in life, Mom, was just for you. This I knew, always show me right from wrong. Even told me life goes on when life is gone. Right or wrong, find my days all played out. Looking for shortcuts, only finding long ways out. Guess till the song's played out. Cry blood to ease the pain. Die young if I can ease the pain.
Thank you so much. You already know. I'll be around.
Oh, that was the end of it? Oh, snap.
I did it right there.
Yo, listen, this shit is deep and it's rare for men to give their moms their roses while they still alive.
Real shit.
Yo, I appreciate you for that, man.
No doubt.
That Joe, make sure anybody that checks the catches the replay, sub up to go check out Frankie Blanco first.
Use that too, like you want it when you clip it or whatever for short, whatever you good to use it. That's
I like that,
shit.
John.
Official, no copyright. You gotta make sure that
You gotta leave it on my back chat though for me to be able to.
It's on my page. I mean, I got you. I definitely do that. I don't got it on the link. Yeah, but I definitely got you. And like I said,
but I'll definitely promote that. I like that. That's deep.
Like I said, I got you. I'm gonna definitely try to send it to you. Because I'm on my phone. Well, actually, I'll do it. Yeah, but I talked to you before you get over. Send it to you in the chat. I'm gonna put in. I can't do that. I forgot.
My email in the description is also on my page. If you
even better, there you go. Perfect. Then I'll check it out.
Also, hit me up and DM me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Enjoy your night.
And we could probably, like I said, we could do a little feature together on some real shit.
All you gotta do is send me the vocals and I can make the rest happen. It's not even that hard. I might even be able to twerk something up. You just give me the vocals, the stems without the beat or anything, No.
I could definitely do it. Yeah, like definitely.
I can't.
We gotta figure out.
You know what I mean? I'll give you some land.
Nah, we got definitely come up with a title and some shit.
The facts you see, because that's how you tell by a person's work, by the way they title it. When you got a title like one word like blue sky or something, I don't know. Nah. But when you got shit like, you know what I mean, the hand that feeds you, and them shit means something. You know what I mean? Those are originals. Those are not like mass copied, fucking revisit and revamp. Nah, this is some shit coming. You ain't gonna get this nowhere else. Nobody's gonna put those same words together in the same way you did it and mean the same thing. You know what I mean? But with that being said, yo, salute to you. You already know, man.
That's a fact. But you heard what I got. Like I said, like throw me something and I'll feature you in it. I don't have a problem coming up with something new or putting something old. And like I've said, like I've been trying to do this for a minute. Like I'll really be into it if I could.
You got it. You
got to know how to work with it.
Yeah, I got to get out of that stage because I be.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I don't hold you up. I'll talk to you.
Facts. Appreciate you. And guys, make sure y'all go check out. Big shout out to Frankie Blanco, yo. He got great music. Like y'all heard some of his stuff. Make sure y'all check him out. Man, he got some deep, deep poetry, yo. You gotta love it, baby. Much respect to Frankie Blanco, yo. We love poetry over here. So if y'all got poetry, don't be scared to pop up. You see where I'm coming from? A shorty, listen, I'll promote that in a heartbeat. You got music, something positive, something that we could share that could, motivate, inspire the next person. We here for that. We down for that, yo. We not here to discriminate, bash, or bring nobody down. Like I've told y'all, we could find solutions and bring them to the table. Oh, man. But before we play the rest of the conquest of my bad, of Spain, we're gonna play from the beginning, right? And this will be the last video, but we coming live later on. It's already Saturday, so snap. Like we coming live later on in a few hours, right? Like around anytime after 8. But we going back live. I might come earlier than that. Listen, if you ain't subbed up, make sure you sub up because listen, the shorty don't schedule lives. I just pop up. So make sure y'all subbed up, right? And before we get into the video, if I knew then what I know now, sometimes I wonder, would I be the same or would I be different? A shorty still believes in fairy tales and imagination that lasts forever. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. I wake up in the morning feeling lost and alone, wondering if life's worth living or if I should grab the throne. The weight of the world on my shoulders is hard to bear. I see no change, it's like nobody cares. I look in the mirror, see a stranger staring back, lost in the world that's spinning off track. I ask myself, is this all there is, or should I give up and let the darkness win? I see no change, just the same old game. Wake up in the morning, I ask myself, is life worth living, or should I blast myself? I see no change, just the same old pain. But I know deep down, I gotta break these chains. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of time, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. If I can go back in time, tell my younger self it's gonna be fine. Embrace the challenges, let your light shine. You'll grow and learn, just give it time. Hey young me, listen up, don't be afraid. Life's a journey, mistakes will be made. Chase your dreams, don't let them fade. Believe in yourself, you'll make the grade. Don't stress about what others say. Stay true to yourself every day. Love deeply, laugh often, don't delay, cause in the end, it's how you play. Be kind to others along the way. Spread love and positivity each day. Don't worry about what they may say, cause your uniqueness is here to stay. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, but things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. If I can meet my younger self, I tell her not to be afraid, that courage will be her wealth and bravery will never fade. Don't fear the challenges ahead, for you'll face them head on. Your inner strength will dawn. You'll grow up to be a warrior, standing tall, unafraid and strong. A parent, a role model, and inspired, fighting for what's right all along. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of time, fix my mistakes, but things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. Looking back on all the roads I've traveled, regrets and lessons learned along the way, but still holding on to hope and faith that with God's grace, a brighter day will come our way. I see no change at all. I'm stuck in this cycle, feeling so small. I ask myself, is this all there is, or should I just end it all with a final kiss? I try
try to stay strong, but it's getting harder each day. The pain and the struggle won't seem to go away. I'm tired of the lies, tired of the deceit. I see no change, just defeat after defeat. I wake up in the morning feeling lost and alone, wondering if life's worth living or if I should grab the throne. The weight of the world on my shoulders is hard to bear. I see no change, it's like nobody cares. Deep down I know I must fight. I won't let the darkness consume me. I'll shine my light, I'll rise above the pain. I'll break free from these chains. I'll find my purpose and I'll make a change. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes when things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life. Help me see the light through all the pain and strife. Sometimes in life we make so many mistakes, and we think that when we fall, we're not able to get up. We listen to those that, talk in our ear, tell us that they, are there for us. And at the end of the day, what's crazy? A friend ain't nothing but a dollar in your pocket. Family is what you make of it. Family is not who you're born into. Alright? So we need to pick ourselves up and do what we gotta do. Life is not for you to sit around and wait for Superman to come save you. Only you can save yourself.
Just like that.
Life is what you make of it, man. And family is not who you born into. But let's continue, right? We're going to finish this video. And then later on tonight, we're going to come back and we're going to react to some more current news and some more, diving down the history. Diving down the history. You hear me? Shit, damn. Am I already in cloud 9? Get it together, Ray. Wake up, Ray. Diving down the history, the rabbit. Damn, here we go, and I say it again. What's going on? Oh, you just want to say history. You know what? Let me pull this up a little bit so I don't gotta, because that's what it is. I'm reading the title. Racheal, focus, but the book's over there and focus. All right. We're gonna continue later on diving down the rabbit hole, right? Exploring the history of our ancestors, presidents, and wars. So let me see. I might play this one and one more, right? Oh, he passed for a black to marry a black woman. The story of who? Clarence King. We might be able to play two. Let's see. Let's continue, right? So shout out to Frankie Blanco for hopping on the panel, right? Giving us a little bit of, what he knew, right? A little bit of his knowledge, a little bit of his wisdom to share on, with others, right? Let's continue, right? He was on point with a lot of what he was saying. So I appreciate him for coming up on the panel, right? Is a lot that we have to learn when it comes to our history, especially with them, trying to erase it, wipe it down, and rewrite it. How much can we believe, of our history when it was, rewritten? So we have to find and search for the truth ourselves.
One of the things that's interesting, particularly with the information that's been coming out recently, is the fact that there are historians, anthropologists, and archaeologists that are saying that the interpretations of the ancient world cannot really be defined because there's a lack of continuity as it relates to the peoples and the places, the events, and the things that have taken place. And the reason why that is, and it's quite simply because these different scholars do not want to get into the reality that, as Dr. John Henrik Clarke often taught us, the missing pages of world history is African history. And so it becomes
That's crazy. Look, I had to rehear this again, right, to even catch that. He said the missing pages, right, on the on world history, right, is African history. And I want, what's crazy? That's true. They took away the book of Enoch, so many chapters away from the original Bibles, right? And remade the Bibles, right? And made different versions of them, right? Damn. That makes a lot of sense now. But why? Why would they want to even hide this from us? I think we know the answer to that too. Shit, right?
important that if you want a true interpretation of the culture, of the people and the places, there is no way that you can leave Africa out. But because of the sociological conditions of always attempting to make it seem as if African peoples are inferior, primitive, that they have not contributed anything to civilization, because they lack that ability or desire to, we never get the proper cultural interpretations. And so the work that we're doing is meant to look at the world before the European began to write the history books. And to truly understand the Moors, you have to go before the people that we call the Moors.
And that's what I'm saying. If there's something beyond the census, right? How far back can we go, right? Because even when you go down the history, searching the gods, right, and you know, take the spiritual route and all that, right, it all leads back to that one God, right? And everybody keeps thinking, I guess, I mean, and it's crazy, right? Because could each God have made it mankind, or was it just that it was one God, and then you know everybody was, you know, just believing that they were praying to their own God? Because you know, if you go check out the word, shout out to the word, right? Make sure y'all go check him out, right? He breaks all this down about the, you know, the Adams, the Eves, and all that stuff, right? Like the different stories in the Bible and much more. So shout out to the word. Make sure y'all go check him out, right? He has broken all that down. He's spoken about the chakra. He has spoken about different gods, right? Oh damn, man, he's talking about, you know, he's spoken about, how can I say, astrology. He's breaking so many things down, like especially when it comes to history, yo. Like you wouldn't want to miss his lives. So make sure that if you haven't checked him out, go check him out, man. Great conversations, great topics, right? And it'd be fun diving down the rabbit hole with him, right? When he breaks down history, I mean, I was gonna say geography, but I think I kind of see a little bit in there, whether people like it or not, right? And he breaks down astrology, right? And he's breaking down the meanings, right, of the gods, right, and the stuff that's happening in the Bibles and much more. So trust me, like you won't be disappointed. He also breaks down, you know, the different cultures and ethnicities, right? Like listen, no matter what it is that you want to be broken down, the word will break it down to you like you in kindergarten, man. Make sure y'all check him out.
We're dealing with episodic history and we're dealing with holistic history.
Holistic?
The episodic history takes episodes, such as the West African kingdoms that people give credit to. The Ghana Empire, the Malinke Empire, the Songhai Empire. When you look at Egypt, they go from the first dynasty and on. And when you're dealing with the Moors, they tend to look at 710 when it was reconnoitered by Tarif, one of the lieutenants of.
Shout out to Frank Banco once again. He came on here. He broke down a little bit about, you know, this little history about here, about Tarif and all that. So, I mean, listen, don't go by what we're telling you here. Go and do your own research, right? Like I said before, this is just like a stepping stone, right? We're mostly like bringing awareness, right? We're just showing different things, right? We're diving down the rabbit hole. It's up to you on how you perceive and how you take it.
The African general Tariq that went in to reconnoiter the southern part of Europe, specifically Spain. And then 7/11, July of 7/11 to be exact, Tariq and his African warriors and some Arab translators crossed over into Spain and began their conquest.
I'm about to end this live because Word is live.
This was a preemptive
I'm about to go check out Word.
Having assured himself of the necessary command of the sea, Musa sent the Berber Tariq, one of his freedmen, to possess himself of Tangiers and the strong places of the neighboring districts with a view to crossing over into Spain. Tariq accordingly marched thither and took the strong places and cities of those Berbers. This being done, Tariq wrote to his master, "Musa, I have found here 6 vessels." Musa told him to take them and to sail for Spain. Tariq did so in the year 710 and was joined by Musa himself in the year 711. The conquest took place at the beginning of the 8th century and was for all ordinary purposes complete. It was carried out almost entirely by Berber troops, whom Musa continued to convert, to organize, and to draft into Spain. Tangiers, which had always been a Berber stronghold, became for this purpose his military headquarters, and he was enabled perpetually to recruit his conquering armies with fresh
Wow,
troops.
that's crazy.
Tariq took 12,000 of these converts with him on his first landing. There was a tradition lingering from the Greek occupation of the country that Spain would be conquered only by 2 nations composed of peoples unaccustomed to the luxuries of life, hardened by privation and fatigue. The Arabs and the Andalusians alike translated the prophecy to apply to the Arabs and the Berbers. Shortly after the whole of Spain was reduced, there was a general Arab migration to it, and it was with this Arab migration that the high civilization came. For about 50 years, the Berbers in fitful revolution struggled against the Arabs for the sole possession of a country which they claimed that they and they alone had won. The conflict...
Damn, that's crazy. So they say that they own Spain because they won that little battle right there. Oh, wow. I don't know how much that is true, but I'm definitely going to dive down a rabbit hole on that. I like learning. Oh, snap. So what Baghdad got to do with this? I didn't listen. So that means that there wasn't just Africans in Baghdad, you hear me? In Spain, there were also Arabs before the Europeans took over and the Spaniards. Oh, wow. So this means, that they whooped their asses before they decided to, come and whoop our asses. Damn. That's crazy.
Conflict between the dynasties of the Umayyad and the Abbasid in the east gave opportunities for the disaffected in Spain. But about the middle of the 8th century, when the Abbasids succeeded in overthrowing the dynasty of the Umayyad in the east and possessing themselves of the caliphate, one son of the Umayyad escaped into North Africa and, after many adventures, established himself under the name of Abd al-Rahman, the first upon the throne of his fathers in Spain. He ascended the throne in 757, thus separating the Caliphate of the East from the Caliphate of the West. And brilliant.
Yo, this was way before the Spaniards and the Europeans took over. So you telling me that they had won battles against, but were the Spaniards there? I mean, yeah, because the way, when Frankie Blanco hopped on here earlier, he was explaining that. So the Moors and the Africans did teach the Spaniards, the Europeans and all of them to be clean. That is crazy. That kind of makes sense when we was reacting to the other videos the other day, and I'm not sure if it was the last live or the live before that, where they were saying the British were the ones that bought them the Bibles and taught them how to read and stuff like that. Oh, wow.
Brilliantly opened the chapter of cultivated Arab rule in the West.
Oh, shit. Excuse me.
During the first 2 centuries of the rule of the Umayyad, the Arab dominion in Spain reached its highest point. The court of Abd al-Rahman and his successors became the center of all the art, the learning, the refinement, and the elegance of the known world. Commerce brought to the shores of Spain the best productions of every land. Science was honored. Arab travelers penetrated to the furthest limits of the Eastern Hemisphere.
So is this around the time they started science, or was science already there? You see where I'm coming from? Because now it's like a battle of, is the Bible real or is science real? Does science overrule the Bible, or does the Bible overrule science. You see where I'm coming from? It's kind of like, oh shit. So they even had science back in, 907 AD. Damn.
Hemisphere. All that India and China had to teach was known to them. Medieval Arabian achievements in the higher paths of learning are well known. There is no branch of scientific development among the Western nations upon which the Arabs have not set their mark, either by original research or by the service which they rendered in transmitting to their European posterity the learning accumulated by other generations in other lands. They initiated the Renaissance in Europe by preserving and translating at a much earlier period the great works of the Greeks. They gave a vivifying impulse to all the intellectual life of the West by introducing to it the hoarded knowledge of the East. In addition to the geometricians, astronomers, geographers, mechanicians, botanists, chemists, physicians, who appear to have collected all that was known in Asia as well as Europe.
So it is true. So, what if back then they did store DNA? So how far back can we trace our roots? Right? I've heard people say that it's not possible to trace our roots all the way back to this time of age. I mean, in this era, because, science didn't exist, that, doctors didn't. It seems like they had scientists and doctors around this time too. See what I'm saying?
And who wrote voluminously the works of many of them amounting to 50 and 60 volumes, every branch of literature was represented. There were histories, essays, poems. There were treatises upon arithmetic, grammar, poetry, rhetoric, canon and civil law, jurisprudence, logic. All the arts to which elaborate architecture and luxurious domestic life gave rise were, of course, highly developed. Painting appears to have been restricted chiefly to decorative work, but we are repeatedly told that the palaces of southern Spain were filled with works of art. It is interesting to note that in the great days of Mohammedan Spain, Arabian women were not confined, as in the East, to harems.
Oh, wow. The great days of Muhammad in Spain. I didn't even know that he had, history in Spain.
But appeared freely in public and took their share in all the intellectual, literary, and even scientific movements of the day. Women held schools in some of the principal towns. There were women poets, historians, and philosophers, as well as women surgeons and doctors.
See what I'm saying? They had women surgeons and women doctors back then. So why is it that there was a point in time that they made it seem like women couldn't do this and women couldn't do that, and women had to fight for their rights? I mean, it seems like at a point in time they were accepted. They just wasn't called, I mean, she calls them doctors. I want to know what they were really called.
America alone appears to have been unknown to the Arabs, and when we remember that modern Europe had to wait for the journey of Magellan round the world in the opening years of the 16th century to be quite sure of the shape of the globe, we must admit that in the learning of the Arabs of Spain, Negroland had sources of information far purer than any of which England at that time could boast.
So who taught who, right? We was told, right, that the Europeans and the Spaniards taught our ancestors everything, but it seems like it was the other way around. The same way that, we was told that, the people that invented everything that we use in our daily life nowadays was white, but in reality, it turns out that it was a black person who invented everything or designed the majority of the stuff. I mean, it's fun, going down the rabbit hole and learning new things, right? But we also have to, is this cap? Is it true? Like, we have to decipher the truth ourselves. Yo, this was fun, right? We will be back later on. If you haven't subbed up, do sub up. If you enjoyed the stream today, make sure, y'all smash that like button if you want to, right? And if you don't, the dislike button is right there too, man. I appreciate everybody that came in, that, tuned in with a shorty, rocked out with a shorty, because y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all chose to stay here and rock out with a shorty, man. Till next time, this y'all shorty Rachel. I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day and continue to have a blessed and humble morning. Shorty out.